Part 33. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depang. Chapter 325. After muttering to himself, the fat cat raised his head, and his pupils immediately reflected Chen Ronghuo's figure. "Chef, is my delicacy ready?" The next moment, it blurted out a sentence. "Chef." Chen Ronghuo sensed its thoughts, turned his head, and looked at the fat cat, smiling. The fat cat was frightened by Chen Ronghuo's gaze. At the same time, it also shuddered and felt something was wrong. It turned its little head and looked around, only to find that it was no longer in the restaurant before. "Where is this? I just fell asleep. Was I dreaming before? How long have I slept? Master, master," the fat cat suddenly felt anxious, and even his tongue trembled a little. "Where is my big axe? Isn't it time to grab the big axe yet?" "You overslept," Chen Ronghuo said lightly. Then he turned his hand and put away the disaster bead in his hand. Immediately, he returned his consciousness to himself. This time, he not only broke through to the late fourth stage, but also comprehended a new law, the curse law. The comprehension of this law was completely unexpected for him. In the past, although he practiced curse-related secret arts, he did not condense the curse law. The reason why he was so powerful when performing curse-related secret arts was because he held the disaster bead, which was condensed from the curse power emitted by 333 gods after they fell in the great disaster. And this time, the reason why he comprehended the curse law was also because he had held the disaster bead, a powerful secret treasure, for a long time. The disaster bead, a half-step pillar god-level secret treasure, also known as the curse bead, was identified by Chen Ronghuo early on. But he did not expect that he had practiced with this secret treasure for a long time. Even if he did not deliberately comprehend it, he still comprehended the curse law. Including the curse law, plus the 6 laws he had comprehended before, he had comprehended a total of 7 laws at this time. Of course, the law is actually just the mystery of the law. A 4th-level cultivator can only comprehend the mystery of the law. Only a 5th-level cultivator can truly comprehend the power of the law. This is also the reason why cultivators below the 4th level are called transcendental cultivators, and cultivators above the 5th level are called transcendental cultivators. The 5th level is a huge watershed. At the same time, when a cultivator advances from the 4th level to the 5th level, he must also gather all the law mystery talismans he has comprehended together to condense a law true talisman. This law true talisman will be the foundation for cultivators above the 5th level in the future. However, the more law mysteries a cultivator comprehends below the 4th level, the more difficult it will be to advance to the 5th level. However, for cultivators above the 5th level, because of their own established foundation, unless they obtain a heaven-defying opportunity, they will no longer be able to comprehend any laws other than the power of the laws contained in their own law true talismans. So, it is up to you to decide which to choose. Originally, Chen Ronghuo had already comprehended 6 kinds of law mysteries and talismans, and he had no intention of comprehending more law mysteries. But he did not expect that during his retreat this time, he unexpectedly comprehended the curse law mysteries talisman. Before the 5th level, you must not comprehend more law mysteries. Chen Ronghuo made up his mind. Pa! At this moment, Chen Ronghuo's ears moved, and he seemed to hear something falling to the ground and breaking into pieces. He turned his head and glanced, and saw the fat cat stretching out its little paws with white fluffy hair to wipe its red eyes. Crying. Chen Ronghuo was stunned. It was really the first time he saw a cat crying. However, when the strange thought flashed through his mind, he instinctively moved forward, quickly grabbed the fat cat, held it in his arms, rubbed its smooth little head, and coaxed it. "You guy, I was just joking with you, look how anxious you are. You only slept for 3 days, and it's time to hunt today." "Really?" The fat cat raised its head, showing a deep surprise, and a new hope came. Of course it's true. Chen Ronghuo smiled bitterly and shook his head. Okay, I won't tease you anymore, let's go, I'll take you out and help you catch the big brain tiger X. As he spoke, he packed up a little, held the fat cat, and walked out of his tree house. During these 3 days, because of his amazing performance before, none of the practitioners who ranked behind him on the 5 Directions White Forest list challenged him. Soon after leaving the tree house, Chen Ronghuo found Yang Ting, Lu Su, Che Kai Upping, Fang Jinkei, Li Man, and other core disciples of the Holy Tiger sect in the Holy Tiger sect space. In the past few days, the news that the sect would send dozens of tiger monsters into the 5 Directions White Forest has been posted in the garrison and spread. Everyone knows that today is the day for the Holy Tiger sect to give benefits to its disciples. Many disciples of the Holy Tiger sect are eager to get something when they enter the 5 Directions White Forest. Brother Chen, come here quickly. Seeing Chen Ronghuo, Yang Ting, and others greeted him and called him over. Just when Chen Ronghuo walked towards them, they looked at each other and saw the shock and bitterness in each other's eyes. Chen Ronghuo, as Yang Ting said 3 days ago, actually broke through to the late stage of the 4th stage. Thinking of the time when Chen Ronghuo joined the Holy Tiger section. Comparing people is annoying. Brother Yang, Sister Lu. After Chen Ronghuo came over, he greeted everyone one by one. Yes, that's how it should be. After hearing Chen Ronghuo call her sister, Lu Su smiled in her beautiful eyes and said, in the future, every time you meet us, call us brother and sister. Otherwise, with your cultivation speed, I'm afraid that in a short time, we will call you brother in reverse. Don't worry, if I become your brother, I will definitely take care of you. Chen Ronghuo smiled, feeling like a pure big boy. Don't worry, before your cultivation level exceeds ours, we will definitely take good care of you. Everyone also joked. After a few jokes, the gap between the people who had not seen each other for a few days and the gap caused by Chen Ronghuo's breakthrough all dissipated. Soon, after Chen Ronghuo joined the team, a group of people came to the edge of the 5 Directions White Forest. At this time, more than 2,000 people had gathered here. After a group of people came here, they naturally walked to the front. Standing here, you can see that a layer of white mist rose in the 5 Directions forest. Those tiger-like monsters have been put into the 5 Directions White Forest. Yang Ting looked at the 5 Directions White Forest and the white mist, and explained to Chen Ronghuo, wait a little longer, we can enter it and hunt monsters. However, when we hunt monsters, we not only look at strength, but also luck. Junior brother, have you seen the white mist? Those white mists are all created by the 5 Directions illusion array, which can not only hinder vision, but also hinder soul power. In other words, after we go in, if we want to encounter monsters, we can only rely on luck. I see. Chen Ronghuo looked thoughtful. At the same time, he also used the identification technique of the ancient book to identify the fog that permeated the 5 Directions White Forest. His eyes swept over and fell on a large group of Saint Tiger sect disciples not far away, asking, will they all go in later? Of course not. Yang Ting shook his head and said, the sect has issued a notice. This time, there are a total of 56 tiger monsters deployed in the 5 Directions White Forest. Among them, there is a 5th level tiger monster whose strength has been suppressed to the peak of the 4th level. There are 17 4th level tiger monsters. The rest are all 3rd level tiger monsters. So, if you want to participate, you must have at least the 3rd level cultivation. 2nd level disciples are not eligible to participate. Chen Ronghuo suddenly realized. There are more than 2,000 disciples of the Saint Tiger sect in the 5 Directions White Forest. Among these more than 2,000 people, the 2nd level disciples are the most, the 3rd level disciples are the second, and the 4th level disciples are the least, with a total of only more than 200 people. Swish. While everyone was waiting, A red-robed elder of the Holy Tiger sect with a 5th level cultivation suddenly flew from a distance and landed in front of everyone. He raised his voice and said, "The rules for the distribution of sect benefits have been posted before. I believe everyone is clear about it, so I won't say more. Now I declare that the competition for benefits has officially begun." After a few concise words, the red-robed elder waved his hand, indicating that everyone could start entering the 5-sided white forest. With his wave of his hand, the fog that originally permeated the 5-sided white forest suddenly became stronger. However, this strong fog could not stop people outside from watching. "Junior brother Chen, I'll go first." At the same time, after the red-robed elder finished speaking, everyone who had been prepared for a long time also used their skills and quickly rushed into the 5-sided white forest. Yang Ting, Lu Su, and other core disciples who were originally with Chen Ronghuo were no exception. In the 5 directions white forest, vision, and soul power are all blocked. In order to find the tiger demon as quickly as possible, in addition to luck, only by speeding up can we increase the chance. Brother Chen, I am good at tracking. Do you want to come with me? If we can find the tiger demon in the end and take it down, I can share it with you. Li Man, who was wearing the core disciple uniform, had a fair complexion, a tall figure, and an above-average appearance, was a step slower and turned her head to Chen Ronghuo. She was a 4th-level peak cultivator and could be ranked in the top 100 among all the disciples in the entire 5 directions white forest. She said such words, which showed her sincerity. But as soon as she finished speaking, Fat Cat raised his head and looked at her vigilantly. "No need." Chen Ronghuo touched Fat Cat and shook his head and said, "I'd better not drag down senior sister Li." He could slightly feel the burning in Li Man's eyes when she looked at him. He had seen this kind of look on Earth, and he had seen it many times since he came to this world. However, neither Li Man's personality nor her slightly neutral dress were his cup of tea. Whoosh! After rejecting Li Man, he immediately carried the Fat Cat and flew into the 5 directions white forest. The fog in the 5 directions white forest could block the vision and soul power from probing too far, but for him who had the ancient book, he could completely calculate the location of the 5th-level tiger demon through calculation. Therefore, the benefits distributed by the sect this time were almost free for him. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In a moment, Chen Ronghuo calculated the position of the moving 5th-level tiger demon, and immediately he did not hesitate and immediately ran blindly in the 5-sided white forest. Sometimes he ran here, sometimes he ran there. But his position was getting closer and closer to the sealed 5th-level demon. The 5th-level tiger demon with sealed cultivation is undoubtedly the most precious to the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect, but I don't know who will get it this time. It depends on luck. I heard that the stronger the talent, the more favored by heaven. I don't know if Chen Ronghuo of the Holy Tiger sect can be favored by heaven and find the sealed 5th-level tiger demon first. Haha, among so many people, the first one to encounter the 5th-level demon is too small even if he is favored by heaven again. At the same time, many disciples of other sects were standing at the edge of their respective sects waiting. Because the Holy Tiger sect gave benefits to its disciples this time, even the mutual challenges between the disciples of Wuifangbilan were temporarily stopped. However, although such things are rare in Wuifangbilan, they are not uncommon. Other sects sometimes also use this method to give benefits to their disciples. At this moment, because the sensation caused by Chen Ronghuo before has not subsided, many people turn the topic to Chen Ronghuo again. Thanks to Kyujin for the reward of 200 coins at landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 326. While Chen Ronghuo was running hurriedly in the 5 directions white forest, he was thinking about how he could help Shamao get what he wanted this time. For him, it was not difficult to find the 5th-level tiger demon. What was difficult was how to successfully capture the tiger demon after finding it. His current cultivation level is only at the late 4th level, and he has just broken through to the late 4th level. At the same time, his middle dungeon, which is based on the Holy Tiger Crazy Demon skill, is still at the mid-level 4th level. Under such circumstances, he had to think carefully about how he could reasonably take down the 5th level monster with peak 4th level cultivation after being sealed. Otherwise, with his strength, it would not be a problem to take down the 5th level demon, but once he does so, he may expose a little too much. Maybe, you can do this. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved and he came up with a way. Just when Chen Ronghuo was thinking this, many disciples from various sects on the edge of Wuifangbalan discovered him. And his eyes fell on him. Haha, sure enough, no matter how talented Chen Ronghuo is, he can't really win the favor of heaven. Suddenly, someone laughed when they discovered that when Chen Ronghuo was still more than 100 meters away from a 3rd level tiger demon, he suddenly turned around and missed the tiger demon. Whoever has a video secret treasure, please quickly record it. Others also laughed, and some even wanted to use video type secrets to record the scene. On Earth, there are some entertainment programs that use celebrities to make fools of themselves to attract audiences. At this time, Chen Ronghuo was already equivalent to the star and idol in the eyes of many disciples in Wuifangbalan. Now that they saw Chen Ronghuo's defeat, they were all interested. There is no shortage of hecklers and gourmets everywhere. It's your choice. But while a group of people were watching the excitement, they didn't notice that Chen Ronghuo suddenly turned around after running in the White Forest in all directions for a while. This time, the direction he was heading in happened to be the direction of a mid-level 4th level tiger demon. His speed was very fast, and within a short time, he was approaching the mid-level 4th level tiger demon. Hey, something doesn't seem right. Look at Chen Ronghuo. Suddenly, someone made a sound of surprise. No way, is he really that lucky? Everyone looked for the sound and immediately saw Chen Ronghuo running quickly in the White Forest in 5 directions, and he actually came face to face with a tiger that was more than 6 meters long and covered with spots. This fierce tiger is a mid-level 4th level tiger monster. Compared with the 3rd level tiger demon that Chen Ronghuo missed before, this demon obviously doesn't know how much more precious it is. You must know that this time, nearly 1,000 people from the Holy Tiger sect entered Wuifangbalan. The total number of tiger demons released by the Holy Tiger sect into the 5 directions White Forest was only over 50. Among them, there are only a dozen or so 4th level tiger monsters. At this time, among the cultivators who entered the 5 directions White Forest, few found the tiger demon at all. Looking at it this way, even if Chen Ronghuo is faster than others, his luck is already excellent. Not bad luck. At the same time, in Wuifangbalan, Chen Ronghuo deliberately muttered to himself after seeing this 4th level tiger demon. Being in the 5 directions White Forest, not only the power and soul power will be affected, but the spread of sound will also be affected. But the strange thing is that people outside Wuifangbalan can hear the sounds inside. After muttering to himself, Chen Ronghuo moved his body, creating a gust of wind like an arrow from a string. The layers of dead leaves on the White Forest land in all directions were lifted up by him, like a wind demon, and they arrived in front of the mid-level 4th order tiger demon in the blink of an eye. Die! Chen Ronghuo shouted loudly. When he frightened the fierce tiger, the power in his body exploded. Before it could react, he punched out, blasting through the air like a cannon, hitting its huge body with a bang. Above. With one punch, the tiger demon flew backwards and hit a big white bark tree. The impact caused the big tree to tremble wildly, and then the tree, which was hundreds of years old, broke with a click. The white bark trees in the 5 directions White Forest are extremely strong, and even an ordinary 4th level practitioner would have to put in a lot of effort to break them. Therefore, one can imagine the power of Chen Ronghuo's punch. Woo! After the colorful tiger was knocked down by Chen Ronghuo's punch, it wanted to roar, but because it had just been punched by Chen Ronghuo and its nose was crooked, when it opened its mouth, it actually let out a whine similar to that of a timid puppy. It struggled to stand up from the fallen tree. It looked at Chen Ronghuo, who stopped in the distance and walked towards it step by step. It tucked its tail and stepped back, trying to escape. Call. But at this moment, it suddenly felt a strong suction coming from behind it. It turned around and found that the suction force was coming from a big cat that was no smaller than itself. Under this suction, it felt that its own strength was extremely suppressed, as if it was a special force to restrain itself. Not good. It was shocked, but before it could react, it saw the fat cat opened its mouth so huge that it covered the sky and the sun in the blink of an eye. It was covered inside, and it was pitch black all around. No. It's not that the mouth is so big that it can cover the sky. But, I have become smaller. A strong and incredible thought emerged from the tiger's mind, but when this thought emerged, it had been swallowed by the fat cat. Gurgle. The fat cat's belly bulged, but in the blink of an eye, it fell back. It was just that it seemed to be fatter after swallowing this fourth-level middle-stage tiger. Swallowed. Chen Ronghuo didn't keep this fourth-level tiger demon, but fed it to a cat. This is too wasteful. Seeing this scene, the disciples of various sects outside the Five Directions White Forest, especially those disciples of the Holy Tiger sect who were not qualified and only had the second-level cultivation, all showed astonishment. None of them had expected that a fourth-order mid-stage tiger demon would be fed to a big cat by Chen Ronghuo. However, what is the origin of that cat? It seems to be a bit extraordinary. Even if a fourth-order mid-stage tiger demon was severely injured by Chen Ronghuo beforehand, it would not be so simple to be swallowed by it in one bite, right? At the same time, some people finally set their eyes on the fat cat and discovered its extraordinariness. Burp. At this time, after swallowing the fourth-order tiger demon in one bite, the fat cat burped, and then the figure flashed and returned to Chen Ronghuo's arms. It squinted its eyes and showed a confused look. It has not eaten a big brain axe for a long time. This time, it finally tasted the fishy taste again. But it stretched out its furry little paws and hooked at Chen Ronghuo. It meant to remind Chen Ronghuo that this fourth-order mid-stage tiger demon was just its appetizer this time. Its target was the largest, fifth-order big brain axe. Don't worry. Chen Ronghuo shook his head helplessly. He immediately held the fat cat and started to run around in the Five Directions White Forest again. His speed was still very fast. And it seemed that he was indeed running around randomly. When he was running around, there were often tiger-like demons that were not far from him and were missed by him. But at this time, no cultivator said that Chen Ronghuo had bad luck. Just encountering that fourth-order middle-stage tiger-like demon just now could make Chen Ronghuo lead other disciples by a lot. But no one knew that all this was done intentionally by Chen Ronghuo. Junior brother Chen. Suddenly, a woman wearing a green core disciple uniform appeared in front of Chen Ronghuo. The woman had a fair complexion, long black straight hair, and a slim figure. It was Lu Su. When Lu Su saw Chen Ronghuo, she immediately smiled and said, "I thought you would go with junior sister Li, but I didn't expect you to act alone. How is it, junior brother, did you gain anything?" "I gained a little bit," Chen Ronghuo grinned, ignored Lu Su's teasing, and just replied, "I met a fourth-order mid-stage tiger demon." "So lucky." Lu Su opened her mouth, a little surprised. Then she said, "I know an alchemist, and I can introduce him to you later. The blood essence of a fourth-order mid-stage tiger demon can be used to refine a lot of tiger blood golden pills." Chen Ronghuo was startled and shook his head and said, "No need, the tiger demon I met has been fed to the cat by me." "Feed the cat?" Lu Su's eyes subconsciously fell on the fat cat, revealing an incredible look, but then she shook her head and said, "Junior brother, you are really a joker." Swoosh. It was just a matter of a moment for Chen Ronghuo and Lu Su to meet and separate. At this moment, the two of them communicated quickly, and then each found a direction and left quickly. Lu Su didn't believe that Chen Ronghuo fed a 4th level tiger demon to Fat Cat, and Chen Ronghuo didn't explain. It's okay. After separating from Lu Su, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved and he immediately changed another direction. This time, he ran directly in the direction of the 5th level tiger demon. It was enough to run around for such a long time to show others. Next, even if he directly encountered the 5th level tiger demon, he could explain to the outside world that it was because of his luck. At this time, Fat Cat suddenly said to Chen Ronghuo with his mind, "Master, I just digested the brain axe of the 4th level mid-stage brain, and found that I only got part of its memory. There is another part of the memory, which seems to be sealed up, and it exploded automatically as soon as I touched it. Is there such a thing?" Chen Ronghuo was stunned. But soon after, he understood what was going on. Knowing that the reason for this is probably that Wulong did something to the souls of these tiger demons. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the Holy Tiger Sect to have not found the Divine Tiger Sect founded by Wulong for such a long time. You know, a powerful sect like the Holy Tiger Sect definitely has more than just a bright side. There must be means like plundering soul memories. Thinking of this, Chen Ronghuo ignored it. Then, he ran forward for a while, and then he knew that he would meet the 5th level tiger demon soon. He communicated with the Fat Cat with his consciousness, and at the same time, he held the Fat Cat's hand and gently touched the Fat Cat. Whoosh! In an instant, the Fat Cat jumped out of Chen Ronghuo's arms, like an orange-yellow electric light, and quickly went away. And it swelled up against the wind, and in the blink of an eye it turned into the appearance of the spotted tiger that it had swallowed before. This was the method Chen Ronghuo came up with. He couldn't expose too much strength, so if he wanted to kill the 5th level tiger demon, he had to let the Fat Cat expose his innate ability. Don't run. After the Fat Cat flew out and turned into a mottled tiger, Chen Ronghuo waved his hand and immediately threw a ball of hot flames at the Fat Cat. The Fat Cat rushed left and right in front, dodging the flames while running away in a panic. What's going on? This scene made everyone puzzled. How did Chen Ronghuo's cat suddenly turn into a tiger? Someone suddenly had an idea. Could it be that the tiger swallowed by the cat before has special abilities, and took over the Fat Cat? It shouldn't be possible, right? Everyone was a little unconvinced. How could such a strange innate ability be able to take over the magpie's nest after being swallowed? But the current situation seemed to be true. Of course, there were also some people who looked at the Fat Cat and thought about whether it was Chen Ronghuo's Fat Cat that had the ability to transform. But few people said it out loud, because, at this moment, they all saw that the 5th level tiger demon with the largest body in the 5 directions White Forest, with a black body and green eyes, was sealed a few hundred meters in front of Chen Ronghuo. With Chen Ronghuo's speed, a distance of several hundred meters was reached in the blink of an eye. When they saw this scene, the Fat Cat, who had turned into a tiger and was running in front, had already rushed past the 5th level tiger demon more than 30 meters away. Big brain, big blue brain tiger, help me, Chen Ronghuo is here. But the Fat Cat had just run past it, and then it seemed to see the huge blue-eyed black tiger with the corner of its eye. It turned its body and ran back. It quickly ran to the side of the 5th level blue-eyed black tiger. Get lost. The blue-eyed black tiger saw the extremely embarrassed Fat Cat running over, and its eyes were angry. No tiger wants to die, and it is no exception. So it has been hiding in the 5 directions White Forest, but it didn't expect that it would be misled by this bastard. Whoosh! However, Chen Ronghuo's figure caught up at this time. He saw the blue-eyed black tiger, as if he had not expected it beforehand, and hurriedly stopped. Lord Baihu, we can't escape, kill 1 and you'll win, kill 2 and you'll win, let's do it together, Fat Cat took a few steps back and instigated beside the green-eyed black tiger. After swallowing the tiger, it got some of its memories, and it was able to handle the situation. Damn it! The green-eyed black tiger was furious, but he had no choice but to fight the fat cat. It obviously couldn't start a fight with the fat cat at this time. Roar! It roared at Chen Ronghuo, and at the same time said to the fat cat, "Damn it, come with me to kill his Laogan Ma." Big Fat wishes all book friends a happy Lantern Festival at. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 327. Roar. The green-eyed black tiger roared, notified the fat cat, and rushed directly to Chen Ronghuo. It didn't want to die, but it actually knew that even if it didn't die this time, it would definitely die in the hands of other disciples of the Holy Tiger sect in a short time. Chen Ronghuo. It stared at Chen Ronghuo with its green eyes, desperate and crazy. This time, the reason why it ended up like this was because of Chen Ronghuo. "I'm going to kill you." From static to dynamic, its speed became faster and faster, leaving a black afterimage in the air, like a black lightning, and it rushed to Chen Ronghuo in the blink of an eye. If it could kill Chen Ronghuo, then it would be enough even if it died this time. However, it didn't know that in the 5 Directions White Forest, there were puppets under the seat of Master Huanzhen controlling the 5 Directions Huanzhen Great Array, and it was impossible for a disciple of the Holy Tiger sect to die in the 5 Directions White Forest. But at this time, the green-eyed black tiger was obviously crazy and didn't think so much. Huh! The wind howled. When the green-eyed black tiger ran to Chen Ronghuo's body, it immediately raised its tiger claws and fell fiercely towards Chen Ronghuo. Boom! At this time, Chen Ronghuo seemed to have just reacted. He quickly exploded the power in his body and performed the secret technique of disintegrating the demon. At the same time, he stretched out his right hand, which was in the shape of a tiger claw, burning with blazing flames, and rushed towards the tiger claw of the green-eyed black tiger. Die! When the green-eyed black tiger saw that Chen Ronghuo was going to fight him head-on, a trace of excitement flashed in his eyes. Even though its cultivation was sealed and it could not mobilize the power of the law beyond the limit, it still had the cultivation of the 4th level peak. But because its realm was as high as the 5th level, its control over the power in its body was far more powerful than that of an ordinary 4th level peak cultivator. Huh! Just when its tiger claws were about to collide with Chen Ronghuo's tiger claws, it suddenly felt a huge and strange suction rising behind it. This huge and strange suction force not only wanted to suck it to other places. It also seemed to be able to absorb the power in its body. Under the effect of this force, it immediately felt that the power in its body was reduced countless times. It showed a look of horror in its eyes. But before it could turn around to see what was happening behind it, its tiger claws, with a bang, collided fiercely with Chen Ronghuo's blazing flaming tiger claws. With a loud bang, the tiger claws of the green-eyed black tiger were directly swept away by Chen Ronghuo. Then Chen Ronghuo grabbed the neck of the green-eyed black tiger from bottom to top. Chen Ronghuo's palm slightly enlarged, and when it was bent, it seemed as thick and powerful as steel bars. He used 5 fingers to force and directly broke the neck of the green-eyed black tiger. Bang! But the jade-eyed black tiger was a 5th-level tiger demon after all. It was unknown what secret technique it used. A strange force burst out from its head in an instant, which made its hardness from the head to the neck and upper body increase instantly under a layer of dark light. For a moment, Chen Ronghuo tried his best but failed to twist its head off. He could only move forward after his body expanded slightly, and use the power of his whole body to forcefully press down the jade-eyed black tiger's head. However, at this time, the jade-eyed black tiger finally knew what was behind him. Cat? When it tilted its head slightly, it caught a glimpse of the fat cat with the corner of its eye, and instantly realized that it had been fooled by Chen Ronghuo. At this time, the fat cat had restored its original appearance and became extremely huge, opening its mouth wide and swallowing it from a distance. "Want to swallow me?" The green-eyed black tiger looked extremely ferocious. It shook its head vigorously, trying to break free from Chen Ronghuo's control, and swung its black tail like an iron whip, whipping the fat cat fiercely. Under the suppression of the strange power from the fat cat's mouth, the power in its body was severely restricted. It was good enough to be able to exert half of its strength. So, it knew that it had to get rid of the fat cat first. If it didn't get rid of the fat cat, it would definitely die this time. Just when it used all its strength to whip the fat cat with its tail, the fat cat suddenly opened its mouth a little wider, and then the tail of the green-eyed black tiger that was whipping the fat cat suddenly became much smaller in front of the naked eye. Not good. The green-eyed black tiger sensed something was wrong. After its claws approached the fat cat, not only did they become smaller, but the power in them also suddenly became several times smaller. It had never thought that the fat cat would have such a strong ability to restrain itself. Crack! Before it could retract its tail, the fat cat quickly moved forward and bit off the green-eyed black tiger's tail, and swallowed it into its stomach. At the same time, when the green-eyed black tiger's tail was broken, a large amount of blood spurted out from the broken tail. The blood was also swallowed by the fat cat into its stomach. Looking for death. The green-eyed black tiger was even more crazy after its tail was bitten off by the fat cat. It knew that it had no chance of survival, so at this moment, it gave up trying to get its head out of Chen Ronghuo's control. Instead, it gathered all its strength to its hind legs, then raised one of its hind legs and kicked back fiercely. With this kick, the black shadow was as fast as lightning, and it was close to the fat cat in the blink of an eye. The fat cat had never expected that the counter-attack of the blue-eyed black tiger would come so quickly. It was caught off guard and was kicked directly on the cheek. Its body flew backwards and hit a white bark tree in the distance. The tree broke directly. The fat cat continued to fly backwards, and then broke the second white bark tree before stopping. Looking for death. Chen Ronghuo, who controlled the blue-eyed black tiger with his 2 arms and his entire body, was instantly furious. In his rage, the power he bestowed on the blue-eyed black tiger almost doubled at once. If it weren't for this moment, most of the eyes of all the spectators were focused on the fat cat. I'm afraid he would be noticed to be wrong. It was not until he scanned and used the identification technique of the ancient book to identify that the fat cat was not seriously injured that he breathed a sigh of relief and slowly reduced his strength. Before this, even he had not thought that when he and the fat cat attacked together, the blue-eyed black tiger could actually make such a counterattack. I must become stronger as soon as possible. After experiencing this, Chen Ronghuo's idea of becoming stronger as soon as possible became stronger. Like just now, he really didn't want to experience the situation where he had the strength but didn't dare to use it again. I want to eat you. At this time, after the fat cat got up from the ground, all the orange-yellow hair on his body exploded, revealing an extremely angry look. Then it flashed and came back behind the blue-eyed black tiger. Roar! It opened its mouth wide and roared, and the terrifying suction force acted on the blue-eyed black tiger again. And this time, the suction from its mouth was several points stronger than just now. At this time, the blue-eyed black tiger had not yet recovered from Chen Ronghuo's sudden surge of strength. In addition, it had just lost its tail and lost a lot of blood in its body. At this time, the fat cat rushed to it again and used the strange ability before, which immediately put it into an unprecedented crisis. Roar, roar, roar. It let out a low roar from its mouth, trying to break free from Chen Ronghuo's restraint on its tiger head, and even raised its tiger claws to attack Chen Ronghuo, but Chen Ronghuo used his 2 arms to hold its tiger head down tightly. The tiger claws it forcibly raised were also blocked by Chen Ronghuo's knees. In desperation, it saw the fat cat approaching again, and could only use the same trick again, gathering its strength on its hind legs again, and sweeping towards the fat cat again. But this time, its strength was obviously much smaller. The fat cat was well prepared, and when he saw the blue-eyed black tiger kicking at him again, he cleverly deflected his mouth and avoided it. Then the cat head shook, and it followed closely, biting the thigh of the green-eyed black tiger in its mouth. Roar! The fat cat let out a low roar, then shook its head, and suddenly exerted force, tearing the thigh of the green-eyed black tiger off from its body, and swallowed it into its stomach after a suck. Suddenly, after the tail was cut off, the green-eyed black tiger broke another leg, and the whole body was covered with blood. And with this leg broken, its strength also dropped again. I told you to kick me. The fat cat's eyes were blood red. After swallowing the thigh of the green-eyed black tiger into its stomach, it opened its mouth again without waiting for the green-eyed black tiger to react. This time, it directly aimed at the entire green-eyed black tiger. You all die. The green-eyed black tiger showed an extremely crazy look in its eyes. It knew that it had no chance of survival this time, but it was still unwilling and wanted to drag someone down with it before dying. It shook its head vigorously, and its whole body swelled slightly, trying to break out of Chen Ronghuo's restraints and make a last stand. Since you want to get out, I'll help you. Seeing the appearance of the blue-eyed black tiger, Chen Ronghuo suddenly sneered, and when the blue-eyed black tiger struggled hard again, he suddenly pushed in the opposite direction, and actually pushed the blue-eyed black tiger backwards. The blue-eyed black tiger was stunned, and did not expect Chen Ronghuo to do this. But before it could react, it suddenly felt the suction coming from behind it, and it increased again. Not good. The blue-eyed black tiger understood what was going on at once. But even though it understood, it was too late. The powerful suction gushed out from the fat cat's mouth, combined with the strength of the blue-eyed black tiger's own struggle backwards, and the strength of Chen Ronghuo's push, the blue-eyed black tiger directly sent itself into the fat cat's big mouth. After entering the fat cat's wide-open mouth, its strength was suppressed to the limit. Click. The fat cat closed his mouth and smacked his lips, revealing a look of unsatisfied desire. Is Chen Ronghuo crazy? This is the only 5th-level tiger demon here, and he actually fed it to the cat. Is this cat his wife? At this moment, everyone watching this battle in Wuifangbalan looked incredulous. Before, Chen Ronghuo fed a 4th-level mid-stage tiger demon to the fat cat, and they could still accept it. But now, Chen Ronghuo actually fed the only 5th-level tiger demon to fat cat, which was really unacceptable to them. They all felt that Chen Ronghuo was really a waste. Even the red-robed elder of the Holy Tiger sect standing above the 5-sided white forest shook his head. A 5th-level tiger demon was a precious thing even to him. But although Chen Ronghuo's cultivation was not as high as his hidden status in the Holy Tiger sect was not weaker than his. So even he couldn't say anything. Damn, again. What's wrong? No way, another tiger demon ran towards him. What kind of luck is he? At this time, the people who were paying attention to Chen Ronghuo suddenly made a burst of discussion. In their sight, a 4th-level mid-stage tiger demon was being chased by several disciples of the Holy Tiger sect and ran straight to the direction where Chen Ronghuo was. Although the tiger demon was discovered by those disciples, in the 5 directions White Forest, all the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect are in competition. Even if Chen Ronghuo snatched the tiger demon away, those disciples would have nothing to say. It's over, those guys are going to be unlucky, and that cat has come to eat again. Some disciples showed a gloating look. How is it? Is it okay? At this time, Chen Ronghuo saw the fat cat swallowing the blue-eyed black tiger into his stomach, and asked with concern. Although he could use the identification technique of the ancient book to identify the state of the fat cat, he still couldn't help but worry. The fat cat's innate ability is extremely powerful, but this blue-eyed black tiger is, after all, a 5th-level tiger demon. Compared with it, the fat cat's cultivation is too much worse. Burp, the fat cat returned to Chen Ronghuo's arms, burped, and said, "Smell." Okay. Chen Ronghuo's face turned black, knowing that his concern was in vain. Whoosh. Just as he was thinking this, he looked up and suddenly saw a 4th-order middle-stage tiger demon with bloodstains on its body rushing towards him. This tiger demon seemed to be in a panic and didn't react until it was only a few dozen meters away. Bang! The moment he saw the demon, Chen Ronghuo's body moved subconsciously, approached it, kicked it up, and kicked it away before it was caught off guard. Compared with the previous blue-eyed black tiger, such a 4th-order middle-stage tiger demon, especially when it was already injured, was like a free gift to him. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. However, Chen Ronghuo had just kicked the tiger demon away when a group of people rushed over from a distance. After rushing over, they glanced at Chen Ronghuo and then at the tiger that had hit a big tree in the distance and couldn't get up for a while, and they were all slightly stunned. Immediately, they all showed some ugly expressions on their faces, and it was obvious that they had guessed what had just happened. "Did you chase this tiger monster all the way here?" Chen Ronghuo saw the expressions of the few people and immediately understood what was going on. "Forget it, since you chased it here, it belongs to you." Then, without waiting for the few people to answer, he waved his hand and let the tiger monster go. After the words fell, he moved his body directly, holding the fat cat, soaring into the sky, and flew away from the 5 directions White Forest. The rule of the Holy Tiger Sect's disciple trial this time is that the disciples cannot fly away from the 5 directions White Forest. Once you fly away from the 5 directions White Forest, it means giving up. However, for Chen Ronghuo, it is meaningless to help the fat cat catch the 5th-level blue-eyed black tiger and let it swallow it, and then stay here. As for the 4th-level mid-stage tiger monster that he kicked away, it is also meaningless to him. At this time, he has an idea. There is an idea that can gain more and avenge Wulong's attack on him. It belongs to us. It was not until Chen Ronghuo left the 5 directions White Forest for a long time that the 5 disciples of the Holy Tiger Sect who had chased him from a distance looked at each other in disbelief. They all didn't believe that such a 4th-order mid-stage tiger demon was given to them by Chen Ronghuo. But the facts were in front of them, and they couldn't help but believe it. No way did Chen Ronghuo enter the 5 directions White Forest this time just to find food for his cat. And after swallowing the 5th-order tiger demon, the cat no longer looked down on ordinary 4th-order tiger demons. At the same time, the disciples of various sects saw the scene and all showed incredible expressions, not understanding Chen Ronghuo's approach. Elder. Just as everyone was confused, Chen Ronghuo flew away from the 5 directions White Forest, glanced over, and saw the red-robed elder of the Holy Tiger section. He moved his body and flew in front of him, and at the same time sent a voice message to him, "I found the hidden place of Wulong's Divine Tiger Sect. Thanks to Sleepings for the 100 coin reward at landing 300 years in advance." Author, Chaoji Depang. Chapter 328. What did you say? The red-robed elder's name was Xuanhuan Tian. He looked at Chen Ronghuo and felt that there might be something wrong with his ears. "We have found the location of the Shenhu Gate founded by Wulong. How is this possible? It has been 500 years since the establishment of Shenhuman. Wulong was cunning and vicious, and during this period he kidnapped and killed countless disciples of the Holy Tiger clan. It's just that the Shenhu Gate is too hidden and no one knows where its headquarters is, so the Shenhu sect has always let Wulong roam free. Even the Holy Tiger sect tried its best to find the headquarters of Shenhuman. How could Chen Ronghuo find it as soon as he joined the Holy Tiger sect? You must know that even the disciples of the Shenhu sect have to be stationed in one place and pass through the teleportation array before they can go to the home of the Shenhu sect. At the same time, those teleportation arrays are also very special. Only people from Shenhuman can use it. It is precisely because of this that many disciples of the Shenhu clan don't know where the Shenhu clan's lair is. Not to mention the disciples of Shenhu clan, all of whom had special restrictions placed on their souls by Wulong, which made all soul-searching methods useless. Elder, you should have seen just now that my cat has the ability to devour tiger demons. When devouring tiger demons, it can also extract memories from the souls of tiger demons. Chen Ronghuo explained. I know Wulong has done tricks on the souls of the disciples of Shenhu clan, but the tricks he did have no effect on this cat like me. In Chen Ronghuo's arms, Fat Mao raised his head in cooperation with Chen Ronghuo, showing a proud look. It was as if Wulong's methods really had no effect on it. Is everything you said true? Zhang Yuanation's face instantly became serious. He knew that Chen Ronghuo had already said this, so there was probably no truth to this matter. No one dares to joke about such a thing. No matter how talented Chen Ronghuo is, as long as he is not stupid, he still won't dare. Of course it's true. Chen Ronghuo nodded. Let's go, follow me to see the great elder. Zhang Yuantian made a decision immediately. After receiving Chen Ronghuo's affirmative reply, he waved his hand and flew straight to a high place with Chen Ronghuo. What's going on? What did Chen Ronghuo say to the elder of their holy tiger sect? Why is that elder not in charge of Liufangbelan anymore? This scene fell in the eyes of those who had been looking at Chen Ronghuo in the distance, and everyone immediately showed a look of astonishment. No one knows what kind of trouble Chen Ronghuo has made. But no matter what, they would never have thought of what Chen Ronghuo did this time. Whoosh! Soon, Zhang Yuantian brought Chen Ronghuo to the sky. A white jade palace appeared in front of Chen Ronghuo under the clouds and mist. Chen Ronghuo looked at the palace with curiosity. He had long heard that Master Huanzhen, an 8th-level cultivator enshrined by the Five Sects Alliance who was based in Liufangbelan, lived in a white jade palace above Liufangbelan. Just because of the formation, they couldn't see the white jade palace from below. Zhang Yuantian, Chen Ronghuo, what are you two doing here in such a hurry? As soon as Chen Ronghuo and Zhang Yuanke arrived here, Wu Tianchuo, wearing a black robe, appeared in front of them. Chen Ronghuo was a little surprised. He didn't expect that Wu Tianchuo had not returned to the sect after a few days. Shamao, who was held in Chen Ronghuo's arms, felt a little guilty when he saw Wu Tianchuo. It remembered that before, it seemed that it had torn half of a big fish that was stained with its own saliva and gave it to Wu Tianchuo to eat. I don't know if Wu Tianchuo still remembers it. Report to the great elder. Seeing Wu Tianchuo, Zhang Yuantian quickly recounted what Chen Ronghuo had just said to him. You said you found the true location of Shenhuman. After listening to Zhang Yuanation's narration, Wu Tianchuo's eyes suddenly lit up. Wulong has broken through to the 7th level. One can imagine how much of a threat a 7th level cultivator hiding in the dark poses to the Holy Tiger sect. If everything Chen Ronghuo said is true, then this time, Chen Ronghuo has really made a great contribution. Great Elder, this is the location of Shenhu Gate. Chen Ronghuo didn't waste any time. He stretched out his finger and burned the flames, using the flames to outline a burning map in the void. This. Wu Tianchuo's eyes followed Chen Ronghuo's fingers and landed on a point in the middle of the flame map. Black God Mountain. After a moment, he looked at Chen Ronghuo and said in disbelief, you said the Shenhuman's lair is on the Black God Mountain. Black God Mountain is a sacred mountain with many legends in the northern part of Shenyang territory. It's just that Black God Mountain is located in the far north and is not in the Holy Tiger Mountains at all. Chen Ronghuo nodded. The blue-eyed black tiger that was swallowed by the fat cat is a dead soldier trained by Wulong in a special way, and can keep any secret for Wulong. It once heard Wulong say with its own ears that the headquarters of Xuanhuan was not in the Shengu Mountains, but in an alien space on the Black God Mountain in the far north. That alien space is an ancient ruin. It is precisely because Wulong obtained the secret in that ruins that he has risen to the present. Naturally, he didn't know this from Fat Cat. In fact, the memory Shamao got from the soul of the blue-eyed black tiger was extremely limited. What Chen Ronghuo said was all calculated by himself by consuming the energy of ancient books. However, if his plan is successful and the Holy Tiger sect finds the location of Xuanhuan, or even kills Wulong, what he can gain will definitely far exceed his current efforts. Not to mention anything else, just the feedback he got from the breath of the law of tribulation due to his restraint of Wulong and the entire Xuanhuan could make him a lot of money. No wonder we haven't found the Shenhu sect's lair in the Holy Tiger Mountains for so many years. It turns out that their station is not in the Holy Tiger Mountains at all. Wu Tianchuo's face suddenly showed a ferocious look. I have recorded this matter. Don't tell anyone about it to the outside world. Then he took a deep breath and looked at Chen Ronghuo and Zhang Yuan Shandao. With this map, as long as the Shenhu gate is really here, it won't be used. How long will it take for the sect to be determined? As long as we are sure that Wulong is in the Divine Tiger Gate, he will definitely not be able to escape. Also Wu Tianchuo then focused his attention solely on Chen Ronghuo. Don't worry, once this matter is confirmed, your credit will never be lost. Meow. But before Chen Ronghuo could say anything, Shamao suddenly raised his head and shouted at Wu Tianchuo when he heard the word credit. It felt that since Chen Ronghuo said it learned about this matter from the soul of the blue-eyed black tiger, it should be right for it to get some credit from it, right? Wu Tianchuo was startled. As his eyes fell on Shamao, he seemed to have thought of something, and he laughed and said, "And you little guy too, your contribution will definitely be no less, you will be the one who wants to eat the 6th level tiger, I'll catch them all for you." Are you serious? Shamao's eyes instantly lit up when he heard this. Even the cat's mouth opened subconsciously and saliva flowed out. Of course it's true. Wu Tianchuo was amused by Fat Cat. At this time, the Fat Cat seemed to have thought of something. He waved his furry paw and delivered a plate of steaming fish to Wu Tianchuo. "Boss, this is the kitten's tribute to you. Eat it while it's hot. I didn't lick this plate of fish this morning." Call. Suddenly a strong wind blew by, and Chen Ronghuo and Shamao fell directly from the air and flew straight down. "Old bastard, I gave him fish and meat and he still blew us away." While rolling around in embarrassment, Shamao cursed in Chen Ronghuo's mind. But while it was cursing, it was a little confused and said, "Master, didn't you say that Big Brother is an honorific? I call that old bastard Big Brother. Why is he blowing us away? Why do you think he blew the wind on us?" Chen Ronghuo's face turned dark. He was almost going to be fooled to death by Fat Cat. This time, he had a great opportunity to establish a good image in front of his cheap master, but it was all ruined by Shamao's words. "You're such an old bastard, you can just let the wind blow on us. If you brag about us, at least give me back the plate of fish I gave you." The Fat Cat chatters incessantly. Belch. However, its belly was bulging, and after a few curses, it burped again. "It seems that this time, I am really full. Call." After Chen Ronghuo rolled several times in the air, he stabilized his body, adjusted his posture slightly, and regained his original stance of the idol sect, then stepped on the air and flew towards the Holy Tiger sect station. Chen Ronghuo is back, and I don't know what he did with Zhang Yuantian just now. Seeing Chen Ronghuo return, the eyes of the disciples from all sects fell on him. I don't know what he just said to Zhang Yuantian to make Zhang Yuantian react so strongly. He even took him to the White Jade Palace in the sky. "Senior brother Chen, congratulations." At the same time, after Chen Ronghuo returned to his station, A large group of disciples from the Holy Tiger sect immediately gathered around him and congratulated him. Chen Ronghuo smiled and nodded at everyone. These disciples were not high in cultivation, but he did not show any superiority. At the same time, he got to know Yang Ting, Lu Su, and others, so he couldn't go back directly and had to wait for them here for a while. However, he calculated using ancient books and knew that there were not many tiger monsters left in the 5 Directions White Forest, so he knew that it would not take long for a few people to come out at this time. At this time, a disciple suddenly asked Chen Ronghuo out of curiosity, "Senior brother Chen, was that green-eyed black tiger you met in the 5 Directions White Forest really fed to the cat you were holding? What is the origin of this cat that can even swallow black tigers with blue eyes?" Chen Ronghuo rubbed the fat orange cat. "It doesn't have any origin, it is just a relatively fat big orange cat. It only mutated once, and its talent is pretty good." This disciple still seemed to feel that it was a pity that Chen Ronghuo fed a 5th-level tiger demon to the fat cat, and blurted out, "Then the 5th-level blue-eyed black tiger it just swallowed, can it spit it out again?" "Well." Chen Ronghuo did not reply immediately, but looked at Shamao. But he saw that Shamao had already opened his sleepy eyes at this time. It looked dangerously towards the disciple who had just asked the question. In his eyes, the light flashed, seeming to convey some kind of message. "Eat it and then spit it out? I haven't really tried this yet. But I can give it a try. Watch me swallow you. Can I spit it out again?" The disciple shuddered violently, knowing that he had said the wrong thing. Huh. At this time, the layers of white mist that permeated the 5 Directions White Forest suddenly dissipated. The dispersal of the white mist meant that all the tiger-like demons in the 5 Directions White Forest had been captured and killed by the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After the mist dissipated, the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect immediately flew out of the 5 Directions White Forest. "Brother Chen, why did you come out so early?" After Yang Ting and others came out, they saw Chen Ronghuo waiting here in advance from a distance, and they were all surprised. They didn't know how Chen Ronghuo could come out so quickly. As they flashed, they all landed beside Chen Ronghuo. "Where is the sealed 5th-level tiger-like demon? Who of you saw it, and who of you got it?" But before Chen Ronghuo could answer Yang Ting's words, other core disciples in the distance had already asked around curiously. "I didn't see it." "I didn't see it either. My luck is even worse. Not to mention the 5th-level tiger demon, I didn't even encounter a 3rd-level tiger demon." The disciples who were relatively strong in the Holy Tiger sect all shook their heads. When Yang Ting heard that the other people in the small circle formed by the 4th-level peak practitioners in the distance said that they had not hunted down the 5th-level tiger demon, a smile suddenly appeared on his face. He turned his head and looked at Fang Jinkei, Lu Su, and Li Man who had gathered and said, "Junior brother Fang, junior sister Lu, junior sister Li, that 5th-level tiger demon, could it be that one of you got it?" Just when he swept his eyes, the few people he asked shook their heads. "Not you either." Yang Ting was immediately stunned. "Brother Yang, didn't you encounter that 5th-level tiger demon either?" Everyone asked curiously. They looked around and saw that almost all the 4th-level peak practitioners in the field had shaken their heads, indicating that they had not seen the 5th-level tiger demon whose cultivation was sealed. Could it be that the demon could be killed by a 4th-level late-stage practitioner? For a moment, everyone showed an incredible look. But, which 4th-level late-stage practitioner is so powerful? Or, did several powerful 4th-level late-stage practitioners team up to take down the 5th-level tiger demon? Beside the few people, Chen Ronghuo touched his nose, feeling a little embarrassed. If he admitted it now, would he be suspected of showing off? But even if he didn't admit it, he certainly couldn't hide it. When he fed the blue-eyed black tiger to the cat, many people outside saw it. Ahem. Chen Ronghuo coughed, his expression calm. "I encountered that 5th-level tiger demon. Thanks to Chu Jin for the 500 coin reward, and by Xin Wuxi for the 100 coin reward. This person sent a voice message in the group. It seems to be a female reader in her prime. She said she was going to high school halfway through the last book and had no time to read. She hadn't appeared for half a year, but I didn't expect her to come back at thank you for your support at landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Depeng. Chapter 329. Chen Ronghuo's voice was not small. In an instant, all the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect who had just come out of the 5 directions White Forest set their eyes on him. Everyone was incredulous. Among them, only some 4th level practitioners could see that Chen Ronghuo had broken through to the late 4th level. Most other practitioners thought that Chen Ronghuo's cultivation was still in the middle 4th level. And that green-eyed black tiger, even if its cultivation was sealed, was stronger than the average 4th level peak cultivator. No one believed that Chen Ronghuo could take down that green-eyed black tiger by himself. Even if he had broken through to the late 4th level, it was just a breakthrough. Only those practitioners who had not entered the 5 directions White Forest knew how Chen Ronghuo did it, so they were not shocked. But since Chen Ronghuo said so, they also knew that Chen Ronghuo would definitely not lie. How did he do it? Is his strength already so strong? Everyone was talking about it. No wonder senior brother Chen would give us a 4th level tiger demon. There were several 4th level disciples in the distance. After hearing what Chen Ronghuo said, they all showed a look of realization. But even so, they were still grateful to Chen Ronghuo. After all, although a 4th level tiger demon was not taken seriously by Chen Ronghuo, it was very valuable to them. If the elixir made from it was exchanged with the sect contribution points, I don't know how much it would cost. At this time, Lu Su, who was around Chen Ronghuo, seemed to have thought of something and blurted out, "Junior brother Chen, you joked with me before, saying that the tiger demon that fed the cat, could it be that the 5th level demon?" No, Chen Ronghuo shook his head, that was the other one. That's more like it. Lu Su nodded, but after nodding, she suddenly felt that her understanding seemed to have some deviations. At this time, Chen Ronghuo explained, "But I also fed that 5th level blue-eyed black tiger to the cat." Lu Su was stunned, and the light in her eyes slowed down. It was as if she couldn't digest the information that came out of Chen Ronghuo's mouth all of a sudden. "What you said to me before, weren't you joking?" It was not until a long time later that she said in disbelief, "Yeah." Chen Ronghuo could only nod. At this time, he felt that the people around him looked at him with extremely strange eyes, so he thought about it and said, "The main reason is that my cat can devour tiger demons to improve his cultivation, so I fed those 2 tiger demons to it." Feed the cat? Chen Ronghuo fed the tiger demons he hunted to a cat? And it also included the 5th level blue-eyed black tiger? At this time, all the practitioners in the distance reacted. They looked at Chen Ronghuo, and their eyes were all full of fire. Jealousy inevitably grew in their hearts. The thing they wanted so much, in Chen Ronghuo's hands, turned out to be cat food. Is this the difference between the common people in the mountain valley and the wealthy families in the city? Damn. At this moment, the fat cat suddenly burped again. This time, after swallowing the 5th level green-eyed black tiger in one gulp, it seemed that it had eaten too much. In a short period of time, I don't know how many burps it has burped. Master, let's go back quickly. The bones of the green-eyed black tiger are a bit hard and difficult to digest after burping, the fat cat said. Just now, old man Wu said that he would help me catch a 6th level tiger demon to eat. Before that, I must digest the green-eyed black tiger as soon as possible. Otherwise, I don't have such a big stomach to eat another 6th level tiger demon. Hearing the words of the fat cat, everyone in the distance was speechless. However, some people who had seen Chen Ronghuo being taken to the White Jade Palace by Zhang Yuantian before, When they heard Fat Cat mention the 3 words Old Man Wu, seemed to think of something, and their pupils suddenly shrank. In the entire Holy Tiger sect, it seems that only that person with the surname Wu can capture a 6th level tiger demon. At this moment, countless people looked at Fat Cat with different eyes. This cat actually dared to call that person Old Man Wu, and its courage was really incredible. And this also invisibly showed that this cat was actually related to that person. No wonder Chen Ronghuo fed the blue-eyed black tiger to this cat. In an instant, everyone began to automatically fill in the blanks in their minds. At the same time, through the discussions of the many second-level outer disciples of the Holy Tiger sect who had not been able to enter the 5 directions White Forest before, the people who had just come out of the 5 directions White Forest all roughly knew how Chen Ronghuo took down the 5th level blue-eyed black tiger. The cat raised by Chen Ronghuo actually has this ability. When they learned that the fat cat played a huge role in it, their eyes on the fat cat became even more different. Among the eyes, Chen Ronghuo shook his head and looked at Yang Ting, Lu Su, Li Man, Fang Jinkei, Che Kai Upping, and asked, "Brother Yang, Sister Lu, how are you going to deal with the tiger monsters you hunted this time?" The reason why he waited for Yang Ting and others to come back here was because he had another purpose. Yang Ting replied, "There are many alchemists in the Green Tiger Peak of our Holy Tiger sect. We all plan to ask Junior Sister Lu to hand over the blood essence and blood of these tiger monsters to those alchemists for refining." Chen Ronghuo knew that Baihu Peak was famous for alchemy, and Lu Su came from Baihu Peak. But this time, he planned to cut off his beard. He looked at Yang Ting and said, "I wonder how much contribution points it takes to find those alchemists to make alchemy." In the Holy Tiger sect, many disciples use sect contribution points as the currency of transactions. "Don't contribute." Yang Ting shook his head and smiled bitterly. "When we find an alchemist, we usually have a 50% success rate. After the alchemist refines the elixir, he will keep half of it as a reward. So, only by taking out 4 parts of the tiger demon blood that can be used to refine the pill, can we get 1 pill." Chen Ronghuo looked thoughtful, then suddenly raised his head and said, "Since in this way, Senior Brother Yang, please give me all the 4th level tiger monsters you hunted. I'll help you refine it. Based on a 100% success rate, after I refine it, I will give you 40% of it. And I happen to understand the law of fire for a period of time through alchemy." Naturally, he didn't know much about alchemy, but Changsun Gengzhang did. Changsun Gengzhang was originally a genius in alchemy, and the special alchemy methods he had previously written down had already progressed rapidly during this period. Taking the tiger blood golden pill as an example, according to his calculations, if Changsun Gengzhang was to refine it, the success rate would be as high as 90%. This means that even if he gives 40% of the elixirs to Yang Ting and others, he will only have more elixirs left. This. Yang Ting and others looked at Chen Ronghuo in surprise. "Junior Brother Chen, do you still know how to make alchemy?" They knew that Chen Ronghuo mastered the law of flame, but they didn't know that Chen Ronghuo could actually make alchemy. And judging from Chen Ronghuo's tone, his success rate in making alchemy was actually quite high. "I have indeed studied the art of alchemy for a period of time, and I happen to know the recipe for the tiger blood golden pill." Chen Ronghuo smiled. Although tiger blood golden pill is extremely important to the disciples of the Holy Tiger sect, it is actually a widely circulated pill. Therefore, he said that he knew the refining method of tiger blood golden pill and did not have to worry about others' misunderstanding. Hearing Chen Ronghuo's explanation, Yang Ting laughed and said, "Okay, since Junior Brother Chen said so, my elixir will be on you, Junior Brother Chen." Since Chen Ronghuo proposed it, Yang Ting would naturally not refuse. Not to mention that he can get many more pills for this. "I also gave mine to Junior Brother Chen." Lu Su also spoke. "Junior Brother Chen, you only receive the 4th level tiger demon essence blood, but not the 3rd level blood." Che Kai Upping interjected. "Forget it about the 3rd level. I don't plan to be a full-time alchemist. I just plan to make some extra money from you while meditating on the law of fire. Chen Ronghuo shook his head. For him, the third-level tiger blood elixir was not very profitable, so there was no need for his grandson Gengjiang to waste time refining it. He had great expectations for Changsun Gengjiang. Instead of letting Changsun Gengjiang refine the third-level elixir, it would be better for him to spend more time practicing and reach the fifth level as soon as possible. But at this time, after hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, the disciples in the distance who had hunted and killed the fourth-order tiger demon all became excited. Being able to obtain 40% of the tiger blood golden elixir is much better than handing over the fourth-level tiger demon essence blood in your hand to other alchemists in the sect. Senior brother Chen. Suddenly, the disciples who had chased the mid-level fourth-level tiger demon near Chen Ronghuo said shamelessly, I wonder if I can trouble you to help us refine the tiger demon, blood golden pill. Chen Ronghuo glanced over and pretended to hesitate before saying, that's okay. The fact that he had not snatched the tiger demon from several people before was also related to the fact that he had planned to use this opportunity to make a lot of money. And if he had snatched the tiger monster from a few people at that time, although he would have gained more, it would not only be meaningless to him, but he would also be hated by others. Junior brother Chen. Senior brother Chen. Immediately, after Chen Ronghuo agreed to those disciples, all the disciples who had hunted tiger monsters above the fourth level in the 5 directions White Forest gathered around him. Okay, but just this once, I really have no intention of becoming a full-time alchemist. In the end, faced with countless open mouths, Chen Ronghuo seemed a little embarrassed. Faced with everyone's requests, he could only reluctantly agree to them all. Everyone. After agreeing to everyone's request for alchemy, Chen Ronghuo said, when I go back, I will start refining the alchemy. There are so many of you, and I will definitely not be able to complete it in a while, so I hope everyone doesn't rush. Don't disturb me while I'm in retreat. Senior brother Chen, don't worry. We all know that the alchemist cannot be disturbed when making alchemy. Everyone spoke quickly. A smile appeared on Chen Ronghuo's face. This time, he used seclusion to refine elixirs and comprehend the law of fire as an excuse. In the next period of time, he could leave Yangting and others behind and practice in seclusion for a while. Otherwise, if Yangting and others often gather and come to him, it would be really bad if he refuses to agree. For him, cultivation is much more interesting than drinking and talking nonsense with these people every day. Then, after Chen Ronghuo collected a lot of blood essence from the fourth-level tiger demons, he said goodbye to everyone and returned to his tree house. Snoring Fat Cat lay in Chen Ronghuo's arms, snoring, and said in a daze, Master, I'm so sleepy, let's take a nap first. As it digested more and more of the blue-eyed black tiger, its spirit became more and more sluggish. Looking at the fat cat's appearance, Chen Ronghuo said, you can sleep, but I'm going back to the God's continent later. Do you want to go back with me? This time he returned to the God's continent not only to give the blood essence of those tiger demons to Changsun Gengzin. It was also because, not long ago, the big river crab in the God's continent, for some reason, urged him to go back through the special connection between the two. Through the special connection with his territory, he knew that there was no problem with the territory. In this case, it was interesting that the big river crab urged him to go back. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Dupang. Chapter 330. Go back to Greenwater Baytown? I haven't broken through to the 5th level yet, so I won't go back. After the fat cat was carried into the treehouse by Chen Ronghuo, after struggling twice, it fell from his arms to the ground with a thud. It seemed that it had really eaten too much, and it was still a little dazed when it fell to the ground. But if it just falls, it will be fine. It rolled its eyes, did not get up, and just rolled on the ground several times in a row. It rolled all the way to a soft cushion in the corner, with its legs in the air, and snored with great enjoyment. The most important thing for it now is to digest the 5th level blue-eyed black tiger in its belly and break through to the 5th level. Otherwise, it would return to Lushwiven Town and become angry when it saw the triumphant look of the big river crab. Besides, it asked Big Fatty Fish to prepare countless delicious foods for it last time, so it didn't have to worry about not having enough to eat. Snoring, snoring, snoring. You guy. Chen Ronghuo was speechless when he saw the fat cat's lazy look and heard its magical purring. Shaking his head, Chen Ronghuo stopped caring about Fat Cat and directly took out the black and white boundary map. Although he was prepared and most likely no one would bother him in the future, it would be beneficial to leave the Fat Cat behind just in case. No one knew that not long after Chen Ronghuo returned to his tree house, he passed directly through the Two Realms map, from the land of demon sealing to the continent of the gods. Crash! A huge creature covered in dark carapace appeared in front of Chen Ronghuo. After Dahi Crab sensed Chen Ronghuo's return, he rushed over immediately. Its large black pliers with a deep luster hung upside down and reached 2 meters in front of Chen Ronghuo. The stony eyes rotated slightly, looking like a terrifying giant beast born in the ancient times. After accidentally discovering a small insect, he was curious and wanted to use his big pliers to fiddle with it. What's going on? At this time, Chen Ronghuo was under the green water outside Greenwater Bay Town, but circles of ripples spread out on his body, making it impossible for the surrounding green water to touch his body. He became more and more satisfied as he looked at the giant river crab that was many times its size. As this big man ate more and more dirt during this period, his size increased sharply again, and he was already 3,000 meters long. This was extremely incredible for a 4th level monster. The big river crab rolled his eyes and looked around. He was slightly disappointed when he saw that the fat cat didn't come back. Master, when I was refining the black and white Kiri's Hima, I accidentally discovered a black and white space deep in the black and white Kiri's Hima. The big river crab began to explain its discovery to Chen Ronghuo and its purpose of calling Chen Ronghuo back this time. 2-color space. Chen Ronghuo was a little surprised. Come on, take me over and take a look. He didn't hesitate. Before the last change in the world, black and white Kiri's Hima was able to have a connection with the demon-sealed land. All practitioners who had reached the 4th level would be spontaneously sucked into the demon-sealed land. Regarding this matter, Chen Ronghuo once used ancient books to calculate, but found that the energy required to calculate this matter was too much, so he gave up. This time, he heard the big river crab say that he found a black and white space deep in the black and white fog island, and he immediately had a premonition in his heart. He had a premonition that he might be about to reveal the true secret of black and white Kiri's Hima. Chen Ronghuo moved his body and jumped onto the big river crab's generous back. After receiving Chen Ronghuo's order, the big river crab sank down with its huge body, layers of cocky ripples rippled out, and the soil under him suddenly seemed like water, with layers of ripples rising. Chen Ronghuo stood on the big river crab and slowly sank to the ground with it. The big river crab knows the art of earth escape, especially after refining the black and white fog beads. It is even more at home on the black and white fog island. Even if you take him with you, you can still perform earth escape. The vision was dim. However, Dahi Crab's earth escape technique was very fast. After 10 minutes, the dim yellow that appeared in Chen Ronghuo's eyes was replaced by 2 colors, one black and one white. It is the ultimate black and the ultimate white. Initially, both colors are very light. But as the big river crab got closer and closer to the target location, the black and white colors that appeared in his eyes gradually took on a complete image. It turned out to be a translucent space wall constructed from 2 colors. Looking through the space wall, I saw an extremely thick snake tail hundreds of meters long inside the two-color space wall, twisting and trembling slightly. Just on the snake's tail, two huge spears, one black and one white, were nailed to the snake's tail, as if to prevent it from breaking free. When Chen Ronghuo saw the objects inside the two-color space barrier, his pupils immediately shrank. This terrifying scene, as well as the terrifying coercion emanating from the two black and white spears and the huge snake tail with deep scales like dragon scales, almost made him turn around and run away. In a short period of time, he glanced over and identified one black and one white, two spears, and the broken snake tail. Jado Snake Mother's tail is cut off. Jado Snake Mother is a half-step god-level general under the command of the Lord of Darkness. Millions of years ago, the Lord of the Black Devil drove the Black Devil Star to the world of the gods, intending to destroy the world of the gods. The gods of the world of gods fought back with all their might. At the end of the war, the god of strength, Janbus, pierced the life gate of her tail with two spears. She died of exhaustion when she fled to the North Sea, the mainland of the gods. The snake's body gathered immeasurable earth attribute spiritual energy and turned into the Gardo Snake Islands. The god of strength, Janbus, was killed by the Lord of Darkness himself. Power God's double spear. The god of power chopped off the horns of the god of night and day, and refined his own divine weapon, divided into two divine spears, one black and one white. It contains part of the power of the god of strength, as well as the inheritance of the god of power, and part of the inheritance of the gods of night and day. Note 1, the crack between black and white Kiri's Hima and the demon-sealed land is caused by part of the original power seeping out from the twin spears of the god of power. Note 2, the refining of Dehi Crab has the power infiltrated from part of the double spear of the power god. The black and white mist spirit beads evolved through the black and white Kiri's Hima at the same time. It condenses the secret of the law of power. It has been recognized by the double spear of the power god and can be accepted by the power god inheritance. Note 3, Jiaduo Snake Mother has the power of resurrection from the dead and will be resurrected in 30 years. Refining the two spears of the god of power can advance the resurrection of the Jadot Snake Mother to 10 years later. Before the Gadot Snake Mother is completely resurrected, she is in an unconscious state and is not threatening. After the Jiaduo Snake Mother is resurrected, her strength will temporarily drop to level 9. Note 4, the two-panel snake array covering the Jiaduo Snake Islands is formed with the broken snake body of the Jiaduo Snake Mother as the core. Every time a piece of snake body is lost, the island formed with that piece of snake body as the core will be freed from the constraints of Lianji Snake Panzan. Messages appeared one after another from the ancient books, making Chen Ronghuo's eyes extremely solemn. He knew that black and white Kiri's Hima must have a big secret. But he didn't expect that black and white Kiri's Hima would hide such a secret. This secret is too big. Shockingly big. The resurrected Jado Snake Mother. Chen Ronghuo stared at the huge snake tail hundreds of meters long in the black and white space, nailed to the ground by the two spears of the god of strength, and twitching, his eyes flashing. The entire Jado Snake Islands were actually transformed into the snake body of Jado Snake Mother. He could not imagine how huge the Jado Snake Mother's true body was and how powerful it was. Once, Chen Ronghuo felt heavy in his heart, knowing that once the Jade Snake Mother was resurrected, she would immediately rush to Black and White Kiri Island and snatch away the two spears of the God of Power. It will be hard to say how Kato Snake Mother will treat Black and White Kiri's Hima. The further a practitioner progresses, the slower his progress will be. In just 30 years, it was obviously impossible for him to have the power to compete with the Jadot Snake Mother. Even after the Gadot Snake Mother recovers, her strength will temporarily drop to level 9. Ba ba ba. Huge bubbles spit out from the mouth of the big river crab, and then burst. Dehi Crab looked at the two spears of the God of Power in the black and white space in the distance, his eyes clearly showing desire. Go. Chen Ronghuo suddenly spoke and drove the big river crab, Go and pull it out and refine it. He was too weak to prevent the resurrection of the Jadot Snake Mother. Since Jiatuo Snake Mother will be resurrected sooner or later, instead of delaying for another 20 years, he might as well find a way to become stronger as soon as possible. After Dehi Crab refines the 2 spears of the Lee God, he will not only get the inheritance of the Lee God, but also get part of the power of the Lee God, and his strength will definitely increase greatly. Call. When Dehi Xia heard Chen Ronghuo's voice, he could no longer suppress the desire in his heart. It had a hunch that as long as it refined the 2 divine spears, its strength would be greatly enhanced. It moved its 8 paws forward and rushed straight into the black and white space in front of it. In excitement, it actually learned to walk straight forward. Boom! A moment later, the big river crab crashed into the black and white space in the distance. Chen Ronghuo had already jumped off the big river crab, used his own power to open a small space underground, and looked at the big river crab from a distance. The black and white space, which seems to have strong blocking power, does not hinder the progress of the big river crab at all. After the big river crab rushed into the 2-color space, its 2 large pincers stretched forward, and the 2 powerful spears that originally nailed the severed tail of the Jiatuo Snake Mother began to tremble in unison. Boom! With a loud noise, the black and white space shattered. The 2 spears of the God of Strength were simultaneously pulled out from the life gate of the Jiatuo Snake Mother's severed tail. One on the left and one on the right were shot into the 2 large claws of the big river crab, one black and one white. Buzz buzz. However, just when the 2 spears of the God of Strength were automatically pulled out and shot into the body of the big river crab, the broken tail of the Jiatuo Snake Mother, which was originally nailed to the ground by the 2 spears of the God of Strength, suddenly started to vibrate, and the amplitude of the vibration became more and more severe. Big. Even the entire black and white Kiri's image shook slightly under its vibration. Chen Ronghuo looked at the vibrating Jiatuo Snake Mother's severed tail in the distance and sneered. Through identification, he knew that this thing had no self-awareness, and at least for him now, it was not threatening at all. However, this thing vibrates constantly and is an important part of the female snake's body. If it is allowed to continue like this, it will definitely not work. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo's thoughts moved slightly. Huanglin received the inheritance of the Mangadu Black Emperor Snake. I wonder if the severed tail of the Mangadu Snake Mother will have any effect on him. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Dupang. Chapter 331. Roar. Just when Chen Ronghuo was thinking about how to deal with the severed tail of the Jade Snake Mother, in the distance, the big river crab suddenly let out a weird roar after the black god's double spears rushed into his body. After this roar, all the joints in its body immediately cracked like explosions. Chen Ronghuo looked over and saw that the already huge river crab began to increase in size again at this moment. At the same time, its whole body was filled with a strong force that could be seen with the naked eye. Chen Ronghuo's gaze fell on it and it felt extremely dazzling. The power of the law of force. Chen Ronghuo instantly knew the source of this power. At the same time, in addition to the law of power, countless black and white mists spread around the body of the big river crab. However, unlike the mist emitted by the big river crab before, this time the 2-color mist emitted around his body showed the ultimate white and the ultimate black. Buzz. Suddenly, the power spread out. When it reached its limit, all kinds of power suddenly buzzed, and they all merged together under the influence of Dehi Crab's thoughts. It gathered into a sheet covered in black and white, filled with flowing fog, mixed with dim yellow soil, and a strange talisman wrapped in a kind of domineering power. The talisman of laws, it is composed of the law of power, the law of earth, the law of mist, and the law of night and day. Note, the laws of night and day are composite laws, composed of the power of multiple laws. Chen Ronghuo identified the attributes of the talisman. Call out. At this time, after the talisman of law condensed by the big river crab took shape, It flashed in the void, arrived in front of its forehead, and then stuck to its forehead and retracted into its body. Click, click, click. In an instant, the size of the big river crab increased rapidly again. 3,500 meters, 4,000 meters, 4,500 meters. In the end, the diameter of the big river crab suddenly increased to 5,000 meters, which was a full 10 miles long. Level 5. Chen Ronghuo stood in the distance. Even without the use of ancient books for identification, he knew that Dahi crab had broken through to the 5th level. At the same time, it broke through this time, and the condensed talisman of laws contained the power of 4 laws. Suddenly, just when Chen Ronghuo was happy about Dahi crab's breakthrough, he had a thought. Suddenly, through the power of the contract between himself and Dahi crab, he felt a strange force in the dark, pouring into him. Body. Under the influence of this strange force, the powerful power originally contained in his body increased crazily at this moment. Even at the same time, an illusory talisman of secret laws took shape and rushed into the depths of his soul. The secret of the law of power. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved and he knew what was going on. Under the influence of the contract law, he has a chance to obtain the abilities of the demon he contracted with. Before this, he had only gained abilities from Fat Cat and Red Carp King. It's just that the abilities he acquired the first 2 times didn't have much effect, which made him almost forget about it. But he didn't expect that he would actually gain the profound meaning of the law of force from the big river crab when it broke through. The law of force is somewhat different from other laws. In addition to understanding, as long as the practitioner's strength is strong enough, he can also condense the secret talisman of the law of force. Chen Ronghuo. Understand the rules. Law of disaster, law of tribulation, law of fire, law of contract, law of curse, law of bloodline, law of immortality, law of power. Talent, natural disaster flame. Natural ability. 1 left hand. 2 immortality. 3 infinite strength. Chen Ronghuo glanced at his own attributes and immediately knew that the reason why he had condensed the secret talisman of the law of power this time was obviously because he had obtained the innate ability from the big river crab, which gave him infinite power. The secret of the 8 laws. However, Chen Ronghuo was delighted to receive such a powerful innate ability, but when he saw that he had fully understood the secrets of the 8 principles, he felt a headache. The more power of laws you comprehend, the slower your future cultivation speed will be. Chen Ronghuo wondered whether he should use his left magic hand to draw out several laws and secret talismans from his body. But there's no rush now. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo's heart moved, and he thought that he could wait until later, when the progress was really slow, and then extract the power of 1 or more laws from his body. The more power of laws he comprehends, the stronger his strength becomes. Now he really doesn't want to give up all the secrets of the laws that he has worked so hard to comprehend. Click. You're looking for a trap, right? Suddenly, after Dahi crab broke through to the 5th level of cultivation, he suddenly raised his 2 large pincers and picked up the hundreds of meters long snake tail that was twitching on the ground. The snake's tail, which is hundreds of meters long, is huge and terrifying. But now it pales in comparison to the size of the big river crab. At the same time, the snake's tail was clamped by the big river crab, and the vibration amplitude suddenly became smaller. Just like the 2 large pincers of a big river crab, it has a natural restraint on it. The big river crab grinned, as if smiling. But its smile would definitely scare the piss out of ordinary people if they saw it. After receiving a powerful inheritance, breaking through his cultivation, and understanding the law of force that he wanted to understand the most, coupled with the sudden increase in size, the big river crab is now in extreme excitement. What a pity! The big river crab suddenly felt a little regretful. It was a pity that the fat cat was not here and did not see his majestic figure after his sudden increase. Let me see this thing. At this time, Chen Ronghuo suddenly stepped forward and placed his right hand on the large piece of snake tail. In an instant, the snake tail disappeared from his sight and was stored in his storage ring. Although this piece of snake tail can move, it is not a living thing and has no will of its own, so it can be stored in the storage ring. However, with the hugeness of this piece of snake tail and the power it generates when it vibrates, ordinary storage rings cannot bear it, let alone hold it. So the storage ring that Chen Ronghuo chose was the ring he got a long time ago when he got the inheritance of the black snake. Master, something seems wrong. Then, just as Chen Ronghuo collected the broken tail of the Gado snake, the big river crab said, "Our black and white mist island seems to be motionless." "I know." Chen Ronghuo nodded, his eyes flashing. "From now on, you will immediately control the black and white mist island and go south, away from the Gado snake islands. The black and white mist island is one of the Gado snake islands, and is also in the Lianji Panshi formation." He was worried that the changes in the black and white mist island would attract the attention of the person who set up this formation. Although letting the black and white mist island wander in the sea will also encounter many dangers, it is definitely better than staying here. At the same time, the Snake God Island. Just as the broken tail of the Gado snake disappeared, a black-robed man in a hidden snake god temple on the faraway Snake God Island looked at a huge formation in front of him and suddenly let out a light exclamation. He stood beside a statue with a human head and a snake body, and said, "Leyland, go to the Golden Temple and pass on the message to the owner of the Blue Fire Island, which is on the edge of the archipelago and closest to the Black and White Mist Island. Tell him to go to the Black and White Mist Island and see what happened there. Thanks to my little vest for the 2,500 coin reward, Starfire for the 500 coin reward, and Heroic Wisdom of the Shooting Sutra for the 100 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance." Author, Chaoji Dupang. Chapter 332. Black and White carries Hima. A man in grey clothes not far from the man in black robe asked puzzledly, "Great priest, Black and White carries Hima is not the one you have checked before. As long as the cultivators of those two islands reach the 4th level, will he be sucked into the twin islands of the demon-sealed land? The owner of King Huo Island is a 5th level cultivator. If he goes there, will he also be?" The high priest in black robes from the Snake Temple waved his hands and said nonchalantly, "You don't have to worry about this." The two serpentine arrays were activated, and the Black and White Kiri's Hima merged into one. The space cracks that existed there must have long since disappeared. The cracks that appeared in Black and White Kiri's Hima were only within the last 1 or 2,000 years. Although it was in a remote location, as one of the islands in the Jadot Snake Islands, he still checked it out personally. It was just that the divine weapon had concealed itself, and the original power seeping out of the two spears was not too serious at that time. Even he could not discover the two spears. "I just thought that all of this was caused by a mutation in a certain part of the snake mother's body." However, suddenly, the black-robed high priest seemed to have thought of something again, and said, "This time Black and White Kiri's Hima suddenly broke away from the shackles of the two ceremony snake formation, and the problem may be serious. In this way, you ask the owner of Bashan Island to take his men with him?" "Yes." Leyland, who was wearing a grey robe, agreed. Boom. Following Chen Ronghuo's instructions, the big river crab transformed into the spirit of Black and White Kiri's Hima and began to urge Black and White Kiri's Hima to move south. "It's too slow." Chen Ronghuo frowned slightly as he felt the speed of Black and White Kirishima's movements. Although the great river crab has broken through to the 5th level, the diameter of Black and White Kiri's Hima is more than 1,000 miles. Even if the great river crab transforms into the spirit of Black and White Kiri's Hima, its speed is still too slow. At such a speed, if for whatever purpose the people who set up the snake array on the two dashboards find something unusual and come to check, they will definitely not be able to escape. "Owner," Dahi Crab said in a muffled voice, If I condense the black and white Kirishima into a smaller one and refine it into my shell, I should be able to move faster. Refining black and white Kirishima into his own shell? Chen Ronghuo's heart moved and he thought of the strange innate ability of the big river crab. Although black and white Kirishima is located in a remote place and there are no precious resources on it, it is actually not small at all. After merging into one, the island is more than 1,000 miles in diameter. On such a large island, even if it is driven by a big river crab, it is impossible to move quickly in the sea water. But if it is condensed and made smaller, it is not necessarily the case. The island now has a population of several million. Millions of people cannot use such a large island. How long will it take you to refine black and white Kirishima into your own shell? Chen Ronghuo asked. 3 days, it will take at least 3 more days. Dahi Crab replied that it had been doing this all along and had already completed part of it before, otherwise it would have taken even longer. At the same time, if it hadn't broken through to the 5th level this time, it might have taken several months. But master, if you can improve my talent a little more, I will definitely be able to do it faster. What it said about helping it improve its natural abilities was obviously to let Chen Ronghuo integrate more attributes such as earth and stone into its body. 3 days. Chen Ronghuo pondered in his heart, in this way, from now on, you will do your best to refine the black and white Kirishima into your own shell. As Chen Ronghuo said this, he began to integrate the large amounts of earth and stone attributes he had accumulated into the body of the big river crab. These were not enough, so he used local materials, stretched out his left hand and touched the soil around him. It was an hour before he found enough properties such as earth and stone to integrate into the body of the big river crab. This time, because he found a large amount of earth and stone properties in the ground, he found a cave the size of a huge mountain directly under the black and white Kirishima. Next, you should be here and refine the black and white Kirishima into your own shell as soon as possible. I'll go up and take a look first. When everything was over, Chen Ronghuo warned Dahi Crab, opened the way with his left hand, and quickly found a passage leading directly to Xuanhuan town. With his current level of cultivation, it is too easy to touch the attributes of ordinary earth and rocks. Greenwater Bay Town. Because of the continuous shocks in black and white Kirishima, Xiaoruo, Chao Chao, Ho San, and others have all gathered together. Master Wang, Master Ho, how are you? Did you just find out where the vibration came from? Xiaoruo asked in a deep voice. His cultivation level is not high, but when Chen Ronghuo is away, he will take care of all the internal affairs of Xuanhuan town. In addition, before Chen Ronghuo left last time, he selected talents in the entire black and white Kirishima. With the assistance of these talents, during this period of time, he has managed the entire black and white Kirishima in order. Coupled with the special crops produced by Chen Ronghuo with his left hand, Black Mist Island developed rapidly and prospered. There were millions of people on the island, and no one went hungry. If my prediction is correct, the source of the vibration just now should come from the ground. Ho San said, the big river crab of the Lord is guarding the ground underground. In addition, the shock just lasted only for a short time. I think the problem should not be big. He has the body of an earth war ape and is born with a deep affinity with the earth, so he immediately noticed the source of the shock just now. But he doesn't know the art of earth escape, so he doesn't know the specific situation. Underground. Xiaoruo frowned. Report. At this moment, a guard of Chen Ronghuo suddenly ran out of the Lord's mansion and came to Xiaoruo and others. My lords, the Lord invites you. The Lord has come out of retreat. Hearing the words of this guard, Xiaoruo and others were suddenly happy and rushed to the Lord's mansion. Many of them still thought that Chen Ronghuo had been in Xuanhuan town. They just thought that Chen Ronghuo didn't come out and was in retreat, and didn't know that Chen Ronghuo actually went to the demon sealing land. Soon, a group of people arrived at the Lord's mansion. Dang dang! Chen Ronghuo sat on the Lord's throne. After everyone gathered, he knocked on the armrest of the Lord's throne. Without any polite words, he went straight to the point and said, "Soon, my river crab will refine the black and white fog island into its own shell. After that, I will let him drive the black and white fog island to leave the Gatuo Snake Islands. There are countless dangers in the sea, and you must be prepared to deal with the crisis at that time. Refine the black and white fog island into its own shell? Leave the Gatuo Snake Islands?" In just a few words, the information revealed by Chen Ronghuo shocked everyone. No one expected that Chen Ronghuo would make this decision abruptly. Because the black and white mist island is always moving, Chen Ronghuo had told his men about the Tuyinpan snake formation before. At this time, Xiaoruo suddenly had an idea and said, "Does the Lord want us to get rid of the Tuyinpan snake formation?" Chen Ronghuo shook his head. Now the black and white mist island has been freed from the Tuyinpan snake formation. But this matter may attract the attention of the person who set up this person, so we must leave here as soon as possible. The people in the meeting hall are all smart people. After Chen Ronghuo explained this, everyone immediately understood the reason. After the explanation, Chen Ronghuo looked at Xiaoruo and said, "Xiaoruo, the island will leave the Gatuo Snake Islands, and the people will definitely panic. This matter will be left to you to deal with." "Don't worry, Lord, I will arrange this matter immediately," Xiaoruo said respectfully. Chen Ronghuo nodded, then looked at Wan Kea Hassan and other generals and said, "In addition, after my river crab refines the black and white mist island into its shell, the size of the black and white mist island will be greatly reduced. After the size of the black and white mist island is reduced, you will immediately start to arrange to build a city within 300 meters of the coastline. Now our Green Water Bay town is qualified to build a city. Build a city, build a huge city on the back of the big river crab. This is Chen Ronghuo's next arrangement. He has attribute abilities, combined with the powerful strength of the warriors in this world and the special abilities of the warlock. He can build an extremely solid giant city within a few months. When an unbreakable giant city is built on the back of the big river crab. When all the people in the territory are surrounded inside. The sense of security of the people can definitely be greatly improved. At the same time, after Zhenkinzan breaks through to the 5th level, let him set up a protective formation for this giant city, then the safety of his territory will be more guaranteed. He could even have Zhenkinzan try to set up a waterproof formation to let the big river crab carry the island and sink into the water. Don't run, all of you stop. At this moment, Chen Ronghuo's ears moved, and he suddenly heard Changsun Genjiang roaring in the alchemy hall of Green Water Bay Town. In the meeting hall, everyone heard Changsun Genjiang's roar, as if they thought of something, and their faces were a little strange. Changsun Genjiang is the head of the alchemy hall. This time Chen Ronghuo summoned his men to come over, but did not greet Changsun Genjiang, and Changsun Genjiang did not come over. "What's going on?" Chen Ronghuo asked curiously. I don't know what Changsun Genjiang is doing, but he made all his men show this expression. Zhangji, who looked wretched and used to squeeze his eyes when speaking, said with a smile, Lord Changsun is refining elixirs, but the elixirs he refined are a little special, and we can't explain it clearly. Otherwise, I will accompany you to take a look." Just when Zhangji said this, everyone's expression suddenly became more strange. "Okay," Chen Ronghuo nodded, "then you can accompany me to take a look." He didn't use ancient books to calculate. If he used ancient books to calculate everything, it would be meaningless. In addition, he brought back a lot of tiger demon blood from the demon sealing land, and Changsun Genjiang needed to refine it into elixirs. Thinking of this, he soon came to the gate of the alchemy hall with Zhangji. As for the others, he sent them away and they were busy with their own things. The gate of the alchemy hall was closed, and there was no one guarding the gate. However, Chen Ronghuo found that at some point, with the alchemy hall as the center, a formation that could isolate various auras was actually arranged. Master, Master, please stop coming. I have white hair. I have white hair. Suddenly, a voice came from the alchemy hall. Ah, I have white hair too. Another voice sounded. Sure enough, this thing is contagious. Then came the excited voice of Changsun Gengjiang. Growing white hair? Could it be that Changsun Gengjiang, the old man, was played badly by me last time? Chen Ronghuo stood outside the gate, looking strange as if he had thought of something. As for Zhangji, the corners of his mouth twitched. But he gritted his teeth and said, Lord, I'll go knock on the door. All along the way, he had been courting Chen Ronghuo. But Chen Ronghuo used the identification technique to identify his loyalty and knew that this guy needed a lesson again. No need to knock on the door, just go in. Zhang Ji had just stepped forward when Chen Ronghuo kicked him on the butt. Boom. The next moment, Zhang Ji, with the huge force of Chen Ronghuo's kick, knocked open the door of the alchemy hall in front and rushed in with his teeth and claws bared. Who is it? Suddenly, a sharp sword light appeared. Don't stab, it's me. Zhang Ji was shocked. You dare to come over? The sword light was reduced, but then it was replaced by another foot, Chang Sunyi's foot. A ruthless kick flew up, and Zhang Ji flew back directly when half of his face floated up. At the door, Chen Ronghuo avoided Zhang Ji, who was flying back, and walked into the alchemy hall without even looking at him. Zhang Ji's special attributes determined that he was not worthy of any sympathy. Lord. In the huge courtyard of the alchemy hall, Chang Sunyi, and Chang Sun Gengjiang, who were also looking over, saw Chen Ronghuo and opened their mouths slightly. Not good, Lord, quickly close the pores, there are hairs, and they will grow hairs. Suddenly, Chang Sun Gengjiang seemed to think of something and shouted hurriedly. Grow hair. Chen Ronghuo was startled, and suddenly felt something strange in his body. He raised his hand and looked at it, and found that the back of his hand had begun to grow fine white hairs. Moreover, it was obviously not just on the back of his hand. When he blinked, he clearly saw that his nose and other parts that his eyes could see were rapidly growing large patches of white hairs. This thing. Chen Ronghuo discovered that these white hairs were actually a strange breath. After infiltrating his flesh, they were nourished by the true qi in his body. Because of the existence of these white hairs, his true qi consumption rate was very fast. At the same time, the growth rate of these white hairs was also very fast. In a short period of time, some white hairs had already grown more than 10 centimeters long. And this white hair was extremely heavy. It felt like 1,000 pounds when pressed on the body. Alien white hair, the breath emitted by the broken white hair dan invaded the human body and absorbed the blood and true qi in the body of the cultivator. It can quickly consume the true qi of the cultivator at the same time. Because it is extremely heavy, it can also drag the cultivator to fight. Weakness, burns when encountering fire. Chen Ronghuo grabbed a white hair and touched it, with a smile on his face. This thing is quite interesting. Huh. A wisp of black and red flames burst out from his body. In the blink of an eye, all the white hair on his body was burned from the inside to the outside. Thanks to I just want to call a book friend for the 200 coin reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 333. Thousands of miles away from Black and White Kiri's Hima, there are 3 islands more than 100 miles apart. These 3 islands are Kinjian Island, Baishan Island, and Ji Iceland Island. In terms of size, the 3 islands are all smaller than Black and White Kiri's Hima. But the island is rich in resources, so there are 5th-level cultivators on every island. Just when the big river crab had not finished refining the black and white Kirishima Islands and left the waters of the Gadot Snake Islands, an airship flew out from two of the islands almost at the same time. Each flying boat is only more than 20 meters long. There were only 6 people standing on each side. And soon, the two spaceships gathered together. On one of the flying boats, a cultivator wearing a blue gown with a strange flame embroidered on the sleeves said with a smile, "Shenbation, I didn't expect that I would still have time to cooperate with you." "I didn't expect it either." On another flying boat, there was a bald man with the same smile on his face. He is exactly the Shenbation the Qingshan cultivator calls him, the owner of Bashan Island and a 5th-level cultivator. The practitioner in green shirt is the island owner of Qingjian Island, Fang Qingjian. The two of them usually don't have a good relationship, but this time, they had to go to Black and White Kirishima together under the orders of the Snake Temple to check on Black and White Kirishima's escape from the 2-meter snake formation. The two airships were extremely fast and had no cover. The last time the heaven and earth changed, countless monsters emerged from the Black Demon Stargate all over the God's continent. But most of the monsters that emerged last time were monsters below level 5. There are very few monsters above level 5. Therefore, with the strength of the two of them, there is no need to worry about any dangers encountered along the way. Whoosh! More than 1,000 miles away, it seems very far, but to a 5th-level cultivator, it is nothing. In just 10 minutes, the two of them led the team and saw the Black and White Kirishima from a distance. Sure enough, this island has stopped moving. The two of them stood in the distance and saw something strange about Black and White Kirishima at a glance. Fang Qingjian turned his head, looked at Shenbation and said, "What are you going to do?" "What to do?" Shenbation focused his attention on the Black and White Mist Island. "There are still people on this island, and they seem to be unaffected. Let's just go there. There are still people on the island and they are not affected, which means there is not much danger to them here." "That's exactly what I meant." Fang Qingjian laughed. He also knew the situation of Black and White Kirishima, so he didn't take Black and White Kirishima to heart either. However, because all cultivators who reach the 4th level in Black and White Kirishima will be swallowed into the demon-sealed land, neither of them had ever been to Black and White Kirishima before. The two of them came here this time, both curious. After making the decision, they immediately sent a 4th-level subordinate each to Black and White Kirishima. After seeing that their men were not forcibly dragged to the demon-sealing land, the two of them drove the airship. After using special means to hide the traces of the airship, they slowed down and flew towards the center of Black and White Kirishima. Suddenly, after passing through several towns in succession, the two of them looked a little surprised. They discovered that all the residents of the towns on Black and White Kiri Island were living a prosperous life, and there was no trace of sadness on their expressions. At the same time, some of the crops grown by the people on the island looked familiar to them. But looking at its growth, it is completely different from the crops they are familiar with. They looked much better than the crops they were familiar with. Interesting. The two looked at each other and saw the excitement in their own eyes. It's like accidentally discovering a big treasure during an outing. Lushwiven Town, Xuanhuan. At the same time, the two also learned from the voices of some townspeople where the core of Black and White Kirishima was and who was in control. This Xuanhuan does seem to have some ability. It was actually able to conquer the original Black Mist City and White Mist City. Although the two of them had never been here before, they did not know anything about Black and White Kirishima. We know that Black Mist Island and White Mist Island were under the control of Black Mist City and White Mist City before this. Whatever, let's go directly to Greenwater Bay Town and ask him if he knows anything. Shenbation spoke domineeringly. But when he spoke, he glanced at the crops below and felt a little pity. It's a pity that Fang Qingjian actually came with him this time. Otherwise, if he owns such an island rich in agricultural products, he will definitely be able to take his territory to a higher level in a short period of time. At the same time, Fang Qingjian also showed the same expression. At the same time, in Greenwater Baytown, this white hare is afraid of fire. When Chen Ronghuo used the natural disaster demon flames to burn all the white hair that grew from his body and wrapped him up like a big white rice dumpling. Chang Soon Zhengjiang's expression when he looked at Chen Ronghuo suddenly changed from the original eagerness to the kind of crazy look that shows up like a scientific madman when he makes a big discovery. Why, Hall Master Chang Soon, are you trying to cut me into slices and use them as research materials? Chen Ronghuo joked with a smile. Don't dare. Chang Soon Gengjiang finally reacted, with a hint of embarrassment on his face, and explained to Chen Ronghuo, Lord, I didn't expect you to come just now, so please don't look at the villain. Chen Ronghuo's expression suddenly turned serious and he said, it's no problem if you want to refine the elixir, and it's no problem if you want to experiment with the properties of the medicine, but in the future you should not use the people in your alchemy hall for experiments. The alchemy hall is the place where alchemy is made, and it is not very noisy. After he finished speaking, he glanced into the distance and saw 5 or 6 disciples of the alchemy hall there. Their bodies were covered with white hairs several meters long. Countless white hairs entangled them, like a human-shaped long-haired monster. Generally, when his eyes fell on those disciples, he found that the white hair on their bodies had begun to fall off spontaneously. Obviously, the blood in the dantian of those disciples has been drained by these white hairs, and the white hairs have lost their nutrients, which is why they are like this. However, although these white hairs are easy to deal with and will only consume the practitioner's blood and energy and have no other side effects, it is still outrageous for Chang Soon Gengjiang to experiment on the disciples of the alchemy hall. Lord, don't worry, I will remember it. Chang Soon Gengjiang's heart trembled as he remembered Chen Ronghuo's terror. Just remember it. Chen Ronghuo showed a gentle smile again on his face. In addition, the elixir you refine this time is good. If you want to develop into refining strange elixirs, I allow you to build a special experiment base. As for experimenting with the properties of the elixir, you can first experiment with mice or something like that. You can also ask Xiaoruo to help you find some people who have committed capital crimes. Thank you, Lord. Chang Soon Gengjiang suddenly showed excitement. Ever since the last time he made a mistake in refining the green blood pill in White Mist City, dyeing the whole city green, he seemed to be tickled by the large swaths of green, and he had a strong desire for all kinds of strange pills. Great curiosity. This white hair pill is one of the strange pills that he has refined during this period of time. It's just that this kind of elixir is very effective for cultivators below the 4th level, but for cultivators above the 4th level, even if they don't need to be burned with flames, they only need to exert a little effort to control the body and shake it with force. The white hair was shaken off, but it had little effect. Now Chang Soon Gengjiang is studying how to change this elixir. By the way, if you still have as much babutin in your hand, get some for me. I can use them. Chen Ronghuo thought it would be a good idea to use this thing to deceive people. Although this thing has little effect on 4th level practitioners, if he uses his left hand to deal with it and gathers the properties of multiple white hair pills into one, I am afraid that not necessarily. There are many more. The elixir for refining this by Mao Dan is not precious. I have refined a lot during this time. Feeling that he had been recognized by Chen Ronghuo, Chang Soon Gengjiang was extremely excited. He immediately took out a dozen white pill bottles from the storage ring and handed them to Chen Ronghuo. At the same time, he said, before using this white butane, you only need to put a drop of blood on it and then crush it. In this way, the smell emitted by babutin will not corrode the user himself. Call. A dozen white pill bottles were suspended in front of Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo stretched out his left hand and gently brushed over these white pill bottles. In just a moment, each of the elixir bottles, together with the elixirs contained in them, turned into nothing and disappeared. In the end, only 3 white elixir bottles were left. Chen Ronghuo opened the remaining elixir bottle, took out the elixir inside, stretched out his left hand, and began to try to integrate the various attributes he had just touched into this elixir. Soon, after the attributes incorporated into one pill reached its limit, he took out a new pill. Mutated enhanced version of White Maiden, white hair consumes infuriating speed and white hair growth speed add 5, white hair length add 4, white hair weight add 7. The breath released after being crushed can quickly invade the body of the cultivator and use its true energy as nourishment. A large amount of white hair will grow outside the cultivator's body, thus consuming the practitioner's true energy. This is for you. When everything was over, Chen Ronghuo put all 3 mutated white hair pills into pill bottles. After keeping 2 bottles for himself, he threw the remaining bottle to Changsun Gengjiang. Suck suck. At this time, Changsun Gengjiang was sniffing the white hair pill that had been treated by Chen Ronghuo, exuding that special smell. He clearly noticed that the new babyton that Chen Ronghuo had used to deal with it had undergone earth-shaking changes from before. Thank you, Lord. When he saw Chen Ronghuo actually taking a bottle of the processed elixir to himself, he immediately showed excitement and quickly picked up the elixir bottle with both hands, for fear of dropping it. He decided to study the elixir immediately after Chen Ronghuo left. See how it became like this and see if you can refine it yourself. This is it. At this moment, Shen Baishan and Fang Qingjian from Baishan Island and Qingjian Island finally drove their flying boat to the outside of Green Water Bay Town. Along the way, what they saw and heard shocked each of them. They never thought that on such an island that they had never cared about, there would be such a lord who could govern the entire Black and White Mist Island in an orderly manner. If it's just 1 or 2 affiliated towns, forget it. However, all the attached towns and villages looked full of life, which shocked both of them. Even if they are 5th-level cultivators, the lives lived by a large part of the people on their respective islands cannot be compared with the lives of the people in Chen Ronghuo's territory. Although the wealth of the people directly under their respective territories can exceed that of the people in Chen Ronghuo's territory. But in terms of mental outlook, it is still far inferior. And this is obviously because, there are people in Green Water Bay Town who are extremely good at management. At this moment, both of them had the idea of capturing the person who was good at management in their own territory and letting him serve them. After approaching Lushwiven Town, Shen Baishan suddenly turned over his hand and took out a white ball. He held the white ball in his hand, and after stimulating it with the power of his soul, the white ball immediately emitted circles of strange ripples. The strange ripples spread rapidly, and in a blink of an eye, the entire Green Water Bay Town was enveloped in it. As the ripples spread, the color on the white ball in Shen Baishan's hand also began to change: red, orange, yellow, green. More and more colors appeared on the white ball, and finally a total of 4 colors appeared. Among them, red is the most common, followed by orange, yellow, and green. There are actually so many 2nd-level cultivators and 3rd-level cultivators. Fang Qingjian, who was on the other flying boat, looked slightly shocked when he saw this scene. The 4 colors revealed on the white ball in Shen Baishan's hand correspond to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th levels of cultivators respectively. Among them, red represents the 1st-level cultivator, yellow represents the 2nd-level practitioner, and so on. But through the white sphere, he was shocked by the number of 2nd-level cultivators and 3rd-level cultivators in Chen Ronghuo's Green Water Bay Town. The number of cultivators of these 2 levels in Green Water Bay Town is no less than that of Qingjian Island and Baishan Island. No matter how many low-level cultivators there are, what's the use if there are no cultivators of level 5 or above to take charge? Shen Baishan, who was bald next to him, smiled sinisterly when he heard this. If there are so many cultivators, if they can all be subdued and taken to their own territory. After hearing Shen Baishan's words, Fang Qingjian also smiled with the same meaning. Even at the same time, the two people's idea of monopolizing Greenwater Baytown, which had faded away, resurfaced again. If two people share equally, how can one person gain more by himself? Both glanced at each other out of the corners of their eyes. It's hard to say, the two of them will have to compete again later. Boom. The next moment, both of them released their powerful momentum, covering the entire black and white Kiri's Hima. Greenwater Baytown is not small, but when the momentum of the two people envelops it, Greenwater Baytown is like a small boat floating in the huge waves on the sea, floating unsteadily. Where is Chen Ronghuo? The high-pitched voice sounded like it was coming from the sky, passing down in waves. At the same time, the two flying boats that had previously disappeared appeared from outside Greenwater Baytown. Who dares to call the Lord by his name? The soldiers guarding Greenwater Baytown were furious when they saw the two flying boats appearing. They drew their bows and aimed at the two flying boats. At the same time, Wang Chao, Ho San, Zhen Qinzan and other generals under Chen Ronghuo also raised their heads and looked at the two flying boats. In the alchemy hall, Chen Ronghuo also raised his head and quickly identified the attributes of Shen Beishan and Fang Qingjian, who had revealed their signs. Shen Beishan, Lord of Beishan Island, Earl. Qualification, 5. A 5th level early stage cultivator. Master the law, the honeypot bloodline law of Doji. Kung Fu, 100 Mountains Fighting Heaven Technique. Secret Martial Arts, 100 Mountain Palm, 100 Mountain Guardian, Honeypot Battle Body. Fang Qingjian, Lord of Qingjian Island, Earl. Qualification, 5. A 5th level early stage cultivator. Master the law of fire. Kung Fu, 5 turns of green flame technique. Martial arts secrets, green flames fall, 5 flames burn the sky. Flying spirit boat, a 5th level low-grade flying secret treasure. Beishan Island. Qingjian Island. It was impossible for the two of them to set up the two ceremony snake formation. In this way, the person who set up this formation should not be close to black and white Kiri's Hima, but he could drive the two of them to run for him. Or maybe both of them are actually members of the forces that set up this formation. Looking at the two of them, Chen Ronghuo's eyes showed a thoughtful look. He immediately guessed that the two of them were here because of black and white Kirishima's escape from the Ryo-Japan snake formation. Otherwise, it would be impossible for two 5th level cultivators thousands of miles away to arrive at black and white Kiri's Hima by coincidence. These two flying spirit boats are quite good. But immediately after, Chen Ronghuo set his sights on the two flying spirit boats under the two people. Until now, their Greenwater Baytown did not have this kind of secret flying treasure. From now on, Big River Crab will definitely take Lushwiven Town around, and it will undoubtedly be much safer if there are two spiritual boats like this to explore the way ahead. But two 5th level practitioners. Touching his chin, Chen Ronghuo turned his attention to Shen Beishan and Fang Qingjian. In addition to the two of them, they also brought 5 cultivators each. The two men's 10 subordinates are all 4th level cultivators. 2 seniors, I am Chen Ronghuo, the Lord of Greenwater Baytown. I don't know what the 2 seniors want when they come here, but the junior is willing to follow the lead of the 2 seniors. Chen Ronghuo spoke respectfully. He thought that with his current strength, if he mobilized the power of faith in the territory to fight head-on with the two, and then cooperated with Dahi Crab, he might not be able to defeat Shen Beishan and Fang Qingjian. But if the battle starts, Greenwater Baytown will definitely have to bear the damage that he cannot bear. And it is also difficult for him to take down both of them and prevent them from sending the news back. So, if there is a chance, he doesn't mind pitting them. It's quite tactful. On the flying spirit boat, Shen Beishan glanced at Chen Ronghuo, sneered in his heart, and said, during this period of time, has there been any abnormality on your black and white mist island? Now in his eyes, Greenwater Baytown is a big cake. But with Fang Qingjian present, he knew that it would not be so easy for him to take down this big cake. So he decided to use Chen Ronghuo first to see if he could complete the task assigned by the Snake God Temple. Abnormal. Chen Ronghuo pretended to be thoughtful, and then seemed to think of something, and suddenly said, "The two seniors are referring to the earthquake that occurred in our Black and White Mist Island not long ago." "Well? You know? Do you know where the source of the previous earthquake was?" Shen Baishan and Fang Qingjian's eyes lit up. No one expected that Chen Ronghuo actually seemed to know about this. "I know." Chen Ronghuo said without hesitation, "I went down to see it before." "Where do you two seniors want to go?" "If you two seniors want to go, I am willing to take you there personally." He didn't care about face at this moment. The winners are the kings and the losers are the bandits. History is written by the victors. As long as he beats the two of them into dog shit, what's the big deal if he licks them like a dog at this time? I will try my best to write another chapter with more than 5,000 words in the evening. Thanks to the book friend Yan Doxin for the 500 coin reward, and the book friend Sumumu for the 500 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Dupang. Chapter 334. When Shen Baishan and Fang Qingjian saw Chen Ronghuo's flattering look, they didn't react at all. They are all 5th level powerhouses, and when they release their coercion, Chen Ronghuo, who only has a 4th level cultivation level, is looking for death if he doesn't bow to them. Now that you know where the source of this change is, then lead the way. Shen Baishan said coldly. He is tall, has a bald head, and exudes an extremely domineering aura, giving people a strong feeling. Okay, I will lead the way for the two seniors. Chen Ronghuo had a smile on his face and looked like a bitch. Call. At this time, Shen Baishan suddenly waved his hand and waved the 3 4th level subordinates on his spirit boat directly into the air and into Chen Ronghuo's lord's mansion. While waving, he sent a message to his subordinates, "After I leave, you immediately use the isolation circle I gave you before to isolate this place, and then destroy this person's lord statue and kill him. Take away the power of faith." At the same time, while transmitting the message, he stared at Chen Ronghuo and continued to say coldly, "You are very smart, I hope you can continue to be smart. You helped me this time, and we will definitely reward you afterwards. But if you dare to play any tricks, your territory will be buried with you." He actually felt that with Chen Ronghuo's strength, he shouldn't dare to play any tricks. But you are not afraid of 10,000, just in case, so you leave a few men behind just in case. At the same time, when he and Chen Ronghuo went to check the source of the change in Black and White Kiri's Hima, his men destroyed Chen Ronghuo's lord statue and took away the power of faith that Chen Ronghuo had accumulated. Obviously, this time he would also have to fight with Chen Ronghuo. Fang Qingjian had the upper hand in the dispute. As for the 4th level cultivators under Chen Ronghuo, he didn't care at all. According to what he had just discovered with the secret treasure, although there were many 4th level cultivators in Chen Ronghui's lord's mansion, there was only one 4th level peak cultivator. And the 3 4th level cultivators he sent out were all peak 4th level cultivators. How can Chen Ronghuo's men compare? However, just when Shen Baishan waved his 3 men to Chen Ronghuo's lord's mansion, Fang Qingjian, who was not far away, waved his hand with a smile and also sent his 3 men out. Fang Qingjian even made an order almost similar to Shen Baishan's. As for Chen Ronghuo, none of them cared. All they care about is each other. After discovering that Black and White Kiri's Hima turned out to be a huge treasure, the two of them regarded each other as rivals. Just seeing this scene, Chen Ronghuo sneered in his heart. These two people took themselves too seriously. Not only was he aloof, but he arrogantly threw his subordinates into his lord's mansion. Do you really think he was a fool? He stepped outside. All they had to do was wait a little longer and he would show the two of them that he was not completely devoid of dignity. Don't say he's not really a dog licker. Even if you really lick the dog, get angry, and show off your power, it will let you know that no matter how high the flower is, it will fall red. Lord. At this time, Zhangji, who had just been kicked away by Chen Ronghuo and then kicked out by Gong Sun Yi, saw that Chen Ronghuo was about to walk out, so he quickly ran up and offered his loyalty, "Let me accompany you." Chen Ronghuo glanced at Zhang Ji and found that the guy's loyalty had increased a little after he had just kicked him. Without thinking, he immediately kicked Zhang Ji aside and said, "Let's take a rest wherever it's cool. Both seniors are experts and keep their word. If I help them lead the way, will we still be in danger?" He continued licking without any shame. This scene fell into the eyes of Wang Chaoho-san, Zhen Qian-san and others who also rushed over quickly, causing them to stop talking even though they were about to speak. But Chen Ronghuo glanced at Cao Cao and others, and then sent a message, "Zhenkin-san, after I leave, you immediately set up a formation to trap them inside, and then cooperate with Changsun Genjiang to capture them." Changsun Genjiang had the mutated and enhanced version of Bai Mao Dan that he had just thrown at him. He believed that he would be able to stun these people when he suddenly used it. Yes. After hearing Chen Ronghuo's instructions, all his men excitedly agreed. Originally, they felt unsure when facing the attack of 5th level cultivators. But when Chen Ronghuo said this, he was obviously saying that he did not take these people to heart. Chen Ronghuo walked out of the alchemy hall, looked at Shen Baishan and Fang Qingjian, and said, "Seniors, please come down together. The place of change is underground. After I discovered the abnormality there, I built an underground passage directly leading to it in my lord's mansion." A smile began to form on his face again. He decided to lure a few people to the big river crab. The big river crab is very deep underground, and in order to enhance the big river crab's talent, he dug out an underground cave the size of a mountain peak. Although Shen Baishan and Fang Qingjian were 5th level cultivators, when he led them there, he let Dehi Crab use his power as the spirit of black and white Kiri's Hima to directly collapse the ground there and bury them alive inside. Even if the two of them are 5th level cultivators, they can still suffer a lot. Moreover, the underground is the world of big river crabs. At the same time, his lord statue is also different from the general lord statue of an earl. His lord statue emits the lord's light, covering a very wide area. Even the underground area where the big river crab is located is within the coverage of his lord's light. With his strength and the blessing of the power of faith, ordinary 5th level cultivators may not be his opponents. A direct passage to the underground. On the Phaetian spirit boat, Shen Baishan frowned. However, he thought about it and accepted the Phaetian spirit boat. He immediately moved and landed in front of Chen Ronghuo with his two remaining men. At the same time, Fang Qingjian also led his men to Chen Ronghuo and stared into Chen Ronghuo's eyes. "You said you had been to the source of the earthquake just now. I wonder what you saw inside." Chen Ronghuo looked as normal and said, "Monster, I saw a huge monster underground. However, I felt the aura of that demon, which was somewhat similar to that of the two seniors. It should be a 5th level demon. I didn't dare to disturb him and returned directly." 5th level demon. Shen Baishan and Fang Qingjian looked at each other with serious expressions on their faces. If there are 5th level monsters underground, then the two of them may have to be more careful later. "You put this thing on your hand, and then lead the way." Suddenly, Fang Qingjian took out a fiery red bracelet, threw it to Chen Ronghuo and said, "This is a gadget I refined. You can use your true energy to urge it on movement, can activate a layer of flame shield. If you encounter danger, this shield can protect your safety. Of course, there is also a mark left by me on it. If you have any evil plans, I only need to move my thoughts and resonate with you. This gadget can kill you in an instant." Explosive Flame Spirit Bracelet, a 5th level low-grade secret treasure. You can use your true energy to create a fire shield to resist damage. It contains a trace of a mark left by Fang Qingjian, and activating this mark can cause the explosive flame spirit bracelet to self-destruct, unleashing a blow comparable to that of a mid-level 5th level cultivator. Once put on at the same time, it will be difficult to take off. Refiner, Fankinjian. I didn't expect that Senior is also a powerful weapon refiner. Chen Ronghuo took the explosive flame spirit bracelet, complimented Fankinjian, and put it on his left hand without any hesitation. As soon as the fiery red bracelet was put on his left wrist, it immediately turned into a fiery red mark and was imprinted on it. But Chen Ronghuo didn't care about this. The power of his left hand is not only limited to the palm and fingers, but also works on the wrist. As long as he could find out all the attributes on this bracelet quietly, it would be a joke for Fang Qingjian to use this thing to control him. Power of explosion add 1. Power of explosion add 1. And Chen Ronghuo's guess was indeed correct. As soon as the bracelet was put on his hand, each attribute on it began to be touched by him into his own attribute space. At the same time, just in case, as soon as he took over the explosive ring, he used the sealing page of the ancient book to capture and seal all the energy around him. In other words, even if Fang Qingjian goes back on his word at this time and wants to control the explosive bracelet to explode immediately, the resonance power transmitted by his soul power will be sealed by Chen Ronghuo in an instant. But Fang Qingjian didn't know anything about it. Seeing Chen Ronghuo put on the explosive flame spirit bracelet he threw on his hand, he immediately showed a gentle smile on his face and said, "Okay, you can lead the way from the front." Putting the explosive flame spirit bracelet on Chen Ronghuo was more than just controlling Chen Ronghuo for him. After putting on the explosive flame spirit bracelet, he could use the explosive flame spirit bracelet to threaten Chen Ronghuo and make Chen Ronghuo stand on his side when he fights Shen Beishan. Although Chen Ronghuo's cultivation level is a bit low, there is still no problem in assisting his men and taking down Shen Beishan's men. Moreover, Shen Beishan had never seen the explosive flame spirit bracelet he had refined, so he didn't know its power. Maybe he could use Chen Ronghuo to treat Chen Ronghuo as a human bomb and hit Shen Beishan hard. Thinking of his success, he couldn't help but glance at Shen Beishan. But he saw Shen Beishan looking towards him at this moment. The two looked at each other, then both avoided looking at each other. After avoiding Fang Qingjian's gaze, Shen Beishan looked at the three subordinates he had thrown into Lord Chen Ronghuo's mansion. "I have equipped these subordinates with silver spirit armor. Wait for them, and they will definitely be able to quickly take down Fang Qingjian's three subordinates. There are only a few simple characters who can become lords." He threw three of his subordinates into Chen Ronghuo's lord's mansion and ordered them to wait until they could break Chen Ronghuo's statue of the Lord and seize Chen Ronghuo's power of faith. This was only one of his purposes. He had already calculated that after he did this, Fang Qingjian would do the same thing. Chen Ronghuo walked in front and soon arrived at his lord's mansion. Shen Beishan and Fang Qingjian each followed him with two subordinates. This is it. Arriving at the cave he had filled before that led directly to the ground, Chen Ronghuo poured out the power of his soul and in an instant absorbed all the soil filled there. A cave appeared in front of Chen Ronghuo. This cave is as tall as a person and more than 2 meters wide, so it is not very narrow. With his current cultivation level, it is not difficult to find such an underground passage as long as he is fast enough. "Two seniors, it's okay for me to lead the way." After opening the cave, Chen Ronghuo showed a hint of hesitation and said, "But if we disturb the demon later, you must save me." "Stop talking so much nonsense." Shen Beishan promised Chen Ronghuo, "I don't know how many 5th level demons I have killed. I will definitely ensure your safety when the time comes." Fang Qingjian, who was on the side, listened to his bragging and said to Chen Ronghuo, "Don't worry, it's just the bracelet I gave you that can keep you safe." "That's good." Chen Ronghuo gritted his teeth and walked directly into the cave without hesitation. Then, at the signals of Shen Beishan and Fang Qingjian, their two men immediately walked side by side and followed Chen Ronghuo's footsteps. At the same time, the two of them walk side by side at the end. Buzz. Just when a group of people walked into the cave and walked underground, in the square in front of Lord Chen Ronghuo's mansion, the three fourth-level peak practitioners who had been thrown here by Shen Beishan looked at each other. One of them immediately took out his hand. A golden disc came out. After taking out the golden disc, his soul power was activated. In an instant, a large golden circle composed of countless weird runes was released on the golden disc. The magic circle spread, actually surrounding the entire Green Water Bay town. Well, Zhen Qinzan, who was quietly hiding in the distance of Chen Ronghuo's lord's mansion, was about to follow Chen Ronghuo's instructions to set up a formation to isolate the 6 men left behind by Shen Beishan and Fang Qingjian. After seeing this scene, Wei Wei startled. This, it seems like nothing happens without me. He opened his mouth and then made a decision, forget it, just to be on the safe side, I'll add another layer of formation to you. As his thoughts swirled, he immediately sped up the movements of his hands. Lu Song, you are planning to attack us. In the square of Lord Chen Ronghuo's mansion, the 3 cultivators left behind by Fang Qingjian immediately became alert when they saw the actions of Shen Beishan's 3 men. Leather Jian, let's capture him without mercy, you are no match for us. The tall man named Lu Song shook his body, and a layer of bright white armor immediately appeared on his body. The 2 people beside him also made exactly the same movements. Silver spirit armor. Seeing this scene, Fang Qingjian's 3 men were all shocked. The silver spirit armor is an extremely powerful armor. Especially for 4th level cultivators, it can provide a strong boost after wearing it. They did not expect that Shen Beishan's 3 subordinates actually wore this kind of armor. Conspiracy, this is your conspiracy. The 3 yelled. Just looking at the golden magic circle covering the entire Green Water Bay town, they all showed a look of despair. Noisy. In the distance, Changsun Zhengzin, who was holding a broom, saw this scene with a hint of hesitation on his face. He actually doesn't have many emotional fluctuations. But at this time every day, it was the time for him to release his magic gift. He would never allow Shen Beishan and Fang Qingjian's men to disturb or even hurt his magic gift. Only. He's not completely heartless either. Chen Ronghuo kept the magic gift with him, and subdued his younger brother, his son and daughter, and all his family as his subordinates. At the same time, he also lived under the fence. It would be equally bad if he disturbed Chen Ronghuo. At this moment, the 3 people from Qingjian Island, seeing that something was wrong, immediately shouted, "The people of Green Water Bay Town, listen to your orders, I am the commander of the Qingjian Island Guards. As long as you help us take down the 3 of them today, we can ask our island master to give you treasures to assist in cultivation, and even techniques that can be cultivated to the 5th level. Chao Chao and Ho San, Changsun Gengjiang and Changsun Yi, as well as Zhangji, Longfi Heng, Longfi Feng, Wenjing Gluo and others, Ho San's demon ape team, etc., all appeared at the door of the Lord's mansion. Do you mean what you said? Wang Chao opened his bow and arrow and aimed at the 3 people on Beishan Island. His eyes flashed, as if he was already moved. Facing 6 peak 4th level cultivators, if they wanted to win, they would definitely have to use all their strength. But if these 6 people fight among themselves, then things will be simple. How dare you? When the 3 people from Beishan Island saw this scene, they immediately threatened, this is a matter between our Beishan Island and Qingjian Island. If you dare to interfere, our lord will definitely kill you, together with your entire Black and White Kiri Island, all of them obliterate, no one can save you. I don't believe it. Call out. But as the people on Beishan Island finished speaking, Wang Dynasty seemed to be angered and shot out the arrow in his hand. Court death. When the 3 people from Beishan Island saw this scene, they immediately became furious. Haha, you did a good job, don't worry, I will definitely report your contribution to the Lord afterwards. But the three people on Qinjian Island all showed excitement on their faces and laughed. They really didn't expect that people from Greenwater Bay Town would actually dare to interfere in their affairs. It turns out that Mr. Chen's purpose is to capture you. However, none of them noticed that when Wang Chao took action, the eldest grandson Zheng Xin, who was standing in the corner and holding a broom, immediately regained his original frown after seeing Wang Chao take action. Call. The next moment, he flipped his hand and swept the broom towards the 6 people in the field. Wang Chao wanted to defeat the 6 people one by one, but to him, they were just 6 people. In an instant, a strong wind blew. However, this strong wind did not blow up a speck of dust in the Lord's mansion, nor did it carry any other debris, but all swept towards the 6 people from Baishan Island and Qinjian Island in the field. Feeling something was wrong, the 6 people turned their heads at the same time and set their eyes on Changsun Zhengzin, who was dressed in ordinary clothes. But at this time, Changsun Zhengzin had put away his broom and walked towards Chen Ronghuo's Lord statue. For him, this broom was enough. What happened next had nothing to do with him. When he walked to the front and back of Chen Ronghuo's Lord statue, he moved his mind and released the soul shadow of Mo Licking, who was dressed in red, from the love flower in his soul sea. After such a long period of nurturing, Mo Licking's soul shadow was obviously much more solid. Boom. However, even though the 6 people from Baishan Island and Qinjian Island were prepared and had taken precautions, they were all swept away by the strong wind after Changsun Zhengzin swept them with a broom. They all vomited blood and flew backwards. None of them died, but they were all seriously injured by this broom. Level 5, half a step to level 5, how is it possible? One of them exclaimed. They couldn't figure out why their island master had checked the levels of the practitioners in Lushwiven town before coming here, but didn't find Changsun Zhengzin. Escape, let's get out of here. Quick, withdraw your shitty formation. Everyone shouted. The practitioner who had taken out the golden formation plate and released the formation to isolate the entire Lushwiven town with the formation, immediately took out the golden formation plate again when he turned around and fled. Buzz. But at this moment, the sky and the earth trembled, and countless 4-colored lights gathered. In the blink of an eye, a large formation with 4 colors flowing was formed with the Lord's mansion as the center, blocking all 6 people inside. Asshole, what did you do again? Suddenly, everyone else looked at the cultivator holding the golden formation plate. But the cultivator also showed a confused look.